Hi guys, welcome to another stream. Uh, Let me just check if my mic is working. Yeah. Hi guys. Yeah, it is working. Okay. So, yeah, we are now. This is the second day, and also this is the second day of streaming IFT 12. Yesterday IFT 12 didn't lift off the pad. I believe due to some problems, maybe with an automated system, uh maybe an maybe an auto abort occur or something. I don't really know what happened yesterday, but that's just my pure guess. Maybe. Okay. I will be back. Commentary will continue at, as I said. Maybe I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be continuing commentary now. Maybe T minus 35 minutes before launch. So let me just write it here. Yeah. Okay. Just give me a sec. So like, yeah, commentary from me will continue maybe when prop load starts. So yeah. I'ma just be turning off my mic. Yeah, I'm gonna have NASA Spaceflight playing here. So yeah, bye guys. I'ma return like later here.
Literally just to say that they were enjoying the show. So seriously, thank you so much for that. I mean, it always astounds me that people do these big supers just to say, I like what I see. Yeah. Like, you could say anything. You could have a question, like the most complicated question in the world, you're going to give to Alex, and you just say thank you. So yeah, thank you, I should be saying. Not don't thank us, thank you. It was greatly appreciated. We did have one other question from Stayar Strings Violin. They were wondering if we thought that SpaceX could go ahead with an uncrewed landing demo immediately after docking with Orion on Artemis 3. A bit more of a forward-looking question. Yeah, forward-looking question. Come on, Alex.
One of the reasons against it is that then the thing that you land on the moon. So apparently, at least from what we could gather from some of the information last year or so, is that the thing that they're going to be using for the uncrewed demonstration mission is that it's going to be more like just a base ship landing like an HLS, but without the cabin, basically just the propulsion systems and the guidance systems without the actual crew systems, right? And that saves them a little bit of time, for example, in the propellant aggregation time frame, because it's carrying less mass for the cabin and all those systems. It's not carrying any of that, so that means it may be able to shave like a couple of refueling trips and things like that. It might be able to save some time and get there faster. not loiter for a long time. It's also not doing a full ascent burn. It's just landing on the moon and then doing like a hop up again to ensure that it can then relight again and take off and make sure that exactly that all of the propulsion systems, it's more like a propulsion systems test and guidance systems, I guess, because you need those of course for landing on the moon. So you need guidance and navigation, and of course the propulsion systems as well. So it seems like that uncrewed demonstration is more about that, whereas what you look for in an Artemis 3 situation is the actual cabin, so that the crew can go inside and do all of the things. Ideally, that's sort of the thing that you will want, especially if the lander carries the exploration suits that are using from Axiom as well, to try them out and test them. That will be a great idea as well. The main goal, per se, is just the rendezvous and docking operations. Like, they don't necessarily need to go inside the lander, but it will be a great thing if they also were able to go inside the lander, and in which case, then you need the actual crew cabin. And it will be a bit more of a weird thing if they were to do it than that uncrewed landing, if they already had planned to not do it with a full-on HLS lander. You know what I mean, right? So we'll see what happens. It might be that they eventually change their minds and they try to hick two birds with one stone, if you will.
Hick?
And yeah, I don't say the other thing. It's still quite bad for the birds, but at least we don't kill them.
Alex, let me summarize what I think you said. For Artemis 3, if they're going to dock with Orion, they need not just the docking hardware, but they should really have the rest of the crew cabin and some stuff in there and life support, right?
Yeah.
But if you put that on Artemis 3, and then you want to undock from Orion and continue to the moon, you have more mass. If you have more mass on the rocket, you're going to need more fuel to get to the moon, right? And that means you're going to have to bring more tankers up there. Like, it's a more complex operation than just docking with Orion and being done with it. So I think really the driving factor there is going to be, are they ready to do more and more refueling ops? Do they have the vehicle stock at the time? Is the rapid reusability working the way that they think that it's supposed to? Like, are those parts of the system going to be ready that would enable topping off the tank so that you could get the rest of the way to the moon? Because you do have that extra mass for the crew cabins in the area that the crew is going to go into when they dock with Orion, assuming that the idea is that they dock with Orion and then Orion goes in, they check it out, like they're looking at a house that they may rent in the future, and they're like, all right, yep, there's closet space, and then they leave and they undock and they go back home again. All right. Well, we are 1 hour and 1 minute, 2018. 764, a few seconds away from the opening of that window. Remember, if you're just joining us, it is a window that we are working with today. We've got an hour and a half to get Starship off the pad. It's getting pretty hazy. From here at the hotel, we are on top of the Margaritaville Hotel at South Padre Island, and as the sun has been baking more and more of this humidity out of the ground, it is pretty hazy between us and the rocket. The good news is the skies are very clear. I'm still seeing some puffy clouds over towards Mexico. Over inland, I see some puffy clouds forming that way as well. And then looking up the coast to the north, more puffy clouds. But out to the Gulf and then directly above us, it all looks fantastic right now. So I really am hoping that the skies stay as clear as they are right now for launch. I hope we don't get any afternoon thunderstorms that start to bubble up, or any clouds that start to form, because right now it is a fantastic day for a launch after we get out of that ground haze. Of course, here from the hotel, we have a little bit of a distant view, but close up in, the camera views that you see on your screen are robotically controlled. They're remote controlled cameras. We developed our own camera systems, ways to protect the cameras, ways to remotely log into them, send them commands, how that links across the channel, all the different things that we do so that we can bring this to you. We have those robotic cameras closer in so that you can see what is happening up in places where people can't actually be. Now, speaking of cameras, I've got a little bit more work to do here, so I believe I should go and...
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I get perfect notes from every meeting. I click this toggle to send my AI note taker to my meetings, even if I can't attend. My AI note taker records the entire meeting and creates a full transcript. After the meeting,
we are going to introduce another person in just a second. I think we're going to roll a video first, and when we come back, we'll have some new hosts to carry you on through the rest of the launch because the clock is still ticking. Now, less than an hour. It says cameras, roll the video, and I'll see y'all after launch probably.
While Flight 12 will debut a new rocket version and a new pad, a lot of the pre-launch procedures are still the same. After all, you don't want anyone close to the rocket when it's time to go. For that reason, there are a series of maritime...
Starship's last flight happened in October. Yes, in October. And it was also the last flight of version 2, a version that gave us lots of headaches when it comes to, well, doing what Starship needs to do in order to achieve its goals in the future. It was also the last flight out of Pad 1, which gave us lots of different memories, very fun moments as well. And we gave our team a series of questions about what they hoped or expected for Flight 11 and also what they expected for the future of Starship.
What do I think will be the outcome of Flight 11?
Honestly, great success. I think Booster 15-2 is going to do everything that it is supposed to and accurately.
I think it's going to be a good outcome. I really want to see that this is a repeatability of Flight 10. It's one thing if you do it once, it's another thing if you can repeat it over and over again.
They learned a lot from the last flight. They're doing basically the same profile. Yes, there's a few changes, but I think that this is going to be a great success.
Now, a lot of people in our team were very hopeful for Flight 11, and they were sort of right. It was a success. But there was something.
I think version 3 will go through some headaches like version 2 did, but I'm really hoping with all of the component testing that we've been seeing happening so far, that it goes a little bit at least smoother. I mean, as long as they don't blow up another ship at Massey's, it'll be fine, right? Right?
Yeah, so there was a question about whether version 3 will give us any headaches just like we got with version 2, and let's say that a lot of people did not pass that test, including myself. We also asked our team what was the thing that they were most excited about for version 3.
The thing I'm most excited about the next version of Starship is that it's going to launch from Pad 2 and be a much more efficient launch mount that hopefully gets to be reused more rapidly.
100% the brand new version of Super Heavy. While technically we are currently on the Block 2 or Generation 2, as some SpaceX engineers have officially called it, it looks very similar to what we began with in Booster 4 and then Booster 7.
What excites me about the next version of Starship is seeing the Raptor 3s in action.
I'm really looking forward to how the infrastructure holds up. They've learned so much from the current Pad 1, the OLM, the Deluge.
And I think we're gonna get more pretty photographs and video from a launch mount with a big flame diverter like that.
No, Jack, we will not have pretty photographs from you because you went asteroid mining. Thanks, Astroforge. But the prediction that everybody got wrong, really wrong, when version 3 will debut.
I think we are going to see the first launch of version 3 probably in late winter, early springtime. So probably end of February, early March, probably at the earliest.
Well,
In March of 2026, maybe right around my birthday?
I think the first launch of version 3 will be February 12th at about 9:30 p.m.
I'm going to go with March 16th, but please keep in mind I'm now 11 for 11 on guessing wrong on the actual launch date.
I'm calling it right now. So I was hoping that Flight 12 would be around the holidays. You know, I'm sitting there baking cookies while I'm watching the live stream. Everyone's in their cute NSF holiday sweaters, right? But since we are still waiting on the new launch pad to be finished, I just have this feeling in my bones that Flight 12 is going to happen at the worst possible time in February.
I'd be absolutely shocked if we see them pull off the first launch of version 3 before the end of the year.
I'm gonna guess probably around the springtime frame. The pad will probably be ready way before the vehicles. I'm just excited to see a full stack on the redesigned Pad 2.
right now I think it's gonna be spring, and I'm gonna say 2026 because, this could be clipped. Like, oh yeah, you were right, and it's like spring of 2027. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That being said, there were two people that were actually right. It was me. I was right. Spring 2026. Also Gage. Gage also said that. Hi Gage. Now here in SF we had a very diverse set of answers, as you can see, but there was one answer where we all agreed upon. And it was the answer to the following question that I'm gonna make you, the viewer. Are you excited for today's launch? I know I am.
them for thinking deja vu. Didn't I watch that yesterday? I've seen a few comments coming in on the chat. Yes, we did, because yesterday we were counting down for launch. There were a few little problems, but it's looking like we are going ahead today. I'm Alice Carruth. I'm joining you for the next hour or so. Counting down to launch. We're currently about 54 minutes until the window opens, and we're very excited to see the version 3 about to go off. Alex, I believe you've got a bit of an update for us to keep us going for today.
Yeah, the SpaceX X account has confirmed that they are go for propellant load on time here for that to happen, hopefully in 15 minutes or so. And yeah, we can see that tower vent has returned, which is a really great indication. It's also very strong. That's the good indication. The roadblock has also been vacated there on the top left. You can see it already empty. So great news all across. We are on track, on time. Things are behaving the way that they should behave and that we expect. And so good to go. I guess we are just minutes away from the start of propellant load.
Just minutes, exactly. We're about 53 minutes now before that flight window opportunity opens up. We do have a 90-minute window for launch today. Fingers crossed things go to plan, because I don't know about you, but yesterday, my goodness, my heart was racing the entire time. Were we going to go? Were we not going to go? We were right there. We got all the way down to T-minus 28 seconds. I feel like today's looking a little bit better for us, though. I mean, overall indications look like it's pretty good. We're seeing all that wonderful venting. Just so you know, this is supposed to happen, right? For people that are in the chat, they're saying, what is going on? Why is it so... it looks like smoke. It's not smoke, it's venting of what's going on. This is exactly what we were hoping to see. Isn't that right, Alex?
Yeah, the venting that you see is either nitrogen or oxygen, depending on the vent that you're looking at. The one on the tower, its gas is oxygen. Technically, what you see is the condensation from the atmospheric humidity turning into a cloud, basically, just like clouds in the air that you see sort of passing by and whatnot. That's condensation of water in the air, and that condensation happens because they're venting oxygen that is very cold, and so that's what you see in there. But yeah, very basically that's all that you can see. It's not smoke, there's nothing burning or anything like that. Sometimes you see a lot of this venting going on. It's normal. It looks very weird, but it's normal. It's just that they're venting more in this case. It sort of depends from day to day, different atmospheric condition, the winds, etc., etc. It can seem as if it's more than what it's actually happening, but it's just a trick of the eye, basically.
Absolutely, and we're getting very close now to that go no go poll, which is we're expecting around 50 minutes ahead of that flight window opening. Again, that window of opportunity opens at 5:30 local time and goes until 7 o'clock tonight, so we've got plenty of time to be able to see this vehicle in action. Ryan, you're back with us. What is it you're most looking forward to with the flight today?
That's a great question. I just want to see things go well. Is that too much to ask for? I just want to see things, we spent most of 2025 with starships doing loop-de-loops in the sky and, with engine failures and loss of attitude control, and we got a couple good flights out of version 2, but I really just want this to work. SpaceX have put so much effort, so much time into this vehicle. I just don't want them to see, the kind of silly schoolboy errors that we've seen with Starship before, where, they've put, kind of rushed something or just not done something correctly. But this time around, they're, putting in so much effort with the numerous test tanks they have at their test site, doing, double-digit number of tests on those test tanks to make sure that every component they can think of has test experience. And they've still had setbacks. Booster 18, the original version 3 booster, had an explosion at the test site. So I'm hoping they've learned from all of that data and they can put that into a wonderful algorithm to produce what, fingers crossed on our screens, is a healthy V3 vehicle that will be able to make it all the way to the Indian Ocean. That is what I'm most excited to see. And I hope we see that, because this needs to work. It needs to work.
Yeah, we've been saying it all day. As much as that vehicle looks like your average Starship, it's not. It's a completely different version. It's an upgraded version. There's a lot of changes that we're seeing with this vehicle. Alex, can you talk us through some of the highlights of what we're seeing with the differences with this V3?
Oh boy, there's a lot of differences. A lot of them are mostly about performance and simplification. They have extended tanks, reduced dry mass in certain portions, simplified designs every now and then, here and there, basically across both the booster and the ship. There's a lot of trying to just increase that performance with simplifications all across the board. For example, on the engine side of things, they have upped that thrust from 230 tons of thrust for each of the Raptor engines up to 250. So that's about 10% increase of thrust. Whereas also the tanks, for example, on the super heavy booster, they have added an extra 400 tons of propellant. The booster has a stretch by about 1.3 meters, and yet they've been able to fit 400 more tons of propellant. If you do the math, that means they've also done some other trickeries. We talked about this earlier in the takeout stream and everything, where it's like they extended the bottom, for example, of where the booster tanks actually end, all the way down to the bottommost ring, literally to the edge. There's like a plate there. The top bulkhead, that hot staging interface is now integrated, so they can raise the entirety of the tank, of the methane tank, that forward bulkhead all the way up to that hot staging ring, so they can gain that volume of the tanks. They have been able to add 400 tons of propellant. On the ship has remained the same size, but they have been able to gain also an extra 100 tons of propellant by moving some of the domes around. The RVAC engines, for example, those vacuum optimized engines, are now a little bit recessed into the liquid oxygen tank. There's a lot of improvements under the hood as well, propellant distribution systems, a lot of the avionics systems as well. On the booster side of things, those great fits have been optimized as well. You've got a bunch of things in general. It's just a complete upgrade across the board, basically almost from blank sheet of paper almost, just based on all of the different learnings that they have taken over the last launches. The pad is also new. There's a bi-directed flame diverter underneath of that rocket. There's an actual flame trench with its own deluge system, water coming out from everywhere down in that flame trench. Even the top deck of the launch mount, which is also new, also basically gets a bunch of water coming out as well that protects it during liftoff. And there's a bunch of other systems that have been just revamped as well for the pad, which makes it much more resilient, again, the thrust and that power of the engines, but also for future launch cadence and reusability. Because you may have a pad that is very resilient but may not be ready to fly just yet, and you want it to actually be ready to fly right after launch. Lots of upgrades, lots of performance improvements all across the board.
And we cannot be more excited. Look at the crowds. There's a lot of them out there at Starbase.
Yeah, it is a great atmosphere out here at the Rocket Ranch Outpost. We are looking over at the launch pad, and the venting is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's signs that we are going to have a launch here shortly. I mean, they're go for prop load. Everything's looking good. Is everyone here excited? Yeah! All right, chat, are you excited? Yeah! All right, it is time to get hyped for this launch. All right, let's roll that video.
Here's ignition. We have liftoff.
We have 33 healthy Raptor engines. Baby fly. Let's go!
the booster is no go for a catch.
And we are back. We are getting ready. We are hyped. And we are counting down to Starship Flight 12. SpaceX go for propellant load as we count through 43 minutes and 45 seconds until liftoff. And once again, just like yesterday, deep breaths. We no panic, and just make sure that we can get through the next 40 minutes without the heart rate getting a little too out of whack. But joining us for the countdown is Sawyer, back from earlier on in the stakeout stream. Sawyer is joining us to count down and count up once we, fingers crossed, get into flight.
To be back for another launch stream. It feels like we just did this, doesn't it, Ryan? It feels like we were almost in this exact same spot yesterday, although this time targeting the opening of the window.
Hi guys, I'm back. So, yeah.
Should be seeing that happening very shortly, and then hopefully start soon seeing that frost. And now the excitement feels even more real than it did before. Now is when the nerves hit and the heart rate goes up, like you were talking about.
Indeed. This is when things get extra spicy, extra exciting, of course, fingers crossed, with the ignition.
Okay, let me just test my mic
so
here.
We will continue counting down, of course. Do keep your questions and comments.
Yeah, I'm just testing my mic right now.
You know, if we, I don't want to say the word, but
yeah.
If we have to enter a pattern of pausing for a few minutes here, we of course want to be able to have something to talk about, but fingers crossed we can focus on the vehicle pretty much from here on out, because of course this is the start of the show.
I'm good here.
I'm good. Sawyer, now that we have you with
us,
would you mind giving us a little rundown on what to expect as we prepare for propellant load? Lots of P's.
All the plosives, you gotta love it. Yes. So we are coming up. Hopefully they will give that go for prop load, which they already did. T-minus 50 minutes. So now, next up, we'll be starting up the oxygen load. First, they start with the ship, and that is followed very shortly thereafter by the booster. That all starts about 38 minutes and 35 minutes to go until launch, respectively. Then after that, we get to the methane load start. That one, instead of starting with the ship, starts with the booster methane load originally, then the ship load begins after that. Of course, once we start getting that liquid oxygen loaded in, hopefully shortly thereafter, we will see the frost lines going up, and as Alicia mentioned in the video a short time ago, it's going to look like it is in a time lapse when it's
Sorry, there's an ad playing on my TV. I have 3 devices playing IFT 12 because now I'm very paranoid of this happening. I have 3 devices playing this stream just in case if one of them plays an ad, I could rely on the 2 others here.
And yet somehow it should be fully loaded with propellants by the time that we get to 2 minutes or so until launch.
Basically, the Falcon 9 countdown we're very used to, but at a 3 times bigger scale.
Yeah, no 20-minute, 20-second vent. I guess technically there was the,
Okay, I'm expecting prop load to start like sub 40 minutes. We should see that tower vent stop. Once we see that tower vents like subside, that means liquid oxygen load on the ship has started. I'm trying to find some vents for the OLM, just to signify like maybe if LOX load on the booster also started, because in the past the OLM OLM A, pad A had a OLM vent, which once subsided meant that the booster had started fueling. I can't really find that OLM vent here because this is a radically new design, and we can't really be sure if that's a vent for the booster. Oh. Okay, don't know what happened to their stream. Okay, it looks like that NSF stream kind of froze here. Let me just try to. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I think they're having a technical difficulty here, but don't worry. Oh, there.
The sound of the standby screen.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're back.
My favourite
I would-
comment
Ah,
so
we're
far is
back.
someone saying, we've been mooned. Sorry guys, we didn't mean to moon you.
Okay,
go.
I've got the confirmation in my ear. We are back. Apologies for that, everybody. Technical gremlins, but we are back, and nothing has happened to Starship in the few seconds that we were off the air. There, we are still counting down towards Starship's 12th test flight. We are now 37 minutes and 0 seconds precisely preparing for launch. Alex, at this point, ship oxygen load should be well underway.
It does look like it might be underway. The tower vent has stopped, and that is
Oh.
our sort of indication when it finally completely ends there at the end that they have started liquid oxygen load on the ship. And so, yeah, we are now loading this thing. Boy, some 5,000 tons of propellant. Nothing. It's just drop in the bucket, right?
That's all, huh?
Okay.
Oh, yes, that's all.
Is that all
I
you
think,
got?
unless my eyes deceive me, I think there's at least some the vapor, of course, is not helping as the venting goes
Yeah.
across the camera, but I think there's some condensation, if not frost, forming on the liquid oxygen tank on the ship.
Yeah, I
now,
think.
just above.
Yeah,
the ship
prop
quick
load
disconnect,
probably has started. The
which
tower
is
vent is
great
now
news.
sputtering.
There we go. Yep. So as we keep an eye on it again, chat. If
There.
you see Frost as well, we need you to shout
Uh-oh.
Frost in chat, especially once we get to the booster next. Every time you see it, we want you here to see Frost.
Oh, they're on there. They're already shouting it, Sawyer.
Good.
Frost, Frost, Frost. They're very excited. They're seeing it all
Frost.
sparkly. You have to know the whole rom-com reference for that one. When you
Yeah,
frost
in fact,
something.
where you see there the ticker at the bottom, you see
Okay.
it says prop load. Right above the O and the P on prop, you can see that liquid oxygen line that goes around the tower and over the arm going out to the ship there. So yeah, that is. You can even see sort of the tip of that quick disconnect arm also sort of venti, a little bit of condensation there, indicating that indeed they are loading propellant on the ship.
I think.
Absolutely. Those tank farm vents always take me off guard because of how much larger they are compared to the previous generation of the pad design, because they go much higher into the sky this time than they did before. So that is one of the new things on pad 2, of course, which we've been talking about over the last couple of days.
Okay.
And we got confirmation from SpaceX that propellant load is now underway.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Great
SpaceX.
news.
That is great news. In fact, yes.
Hopefully we see.
Again, the heart rate continues to
Oh.
rise. It's like every milestone we hit, or every little bit of information and confirmation we get from SpaceX, today's launch provider. You know, just heart rate increases by a few BPM, as I'm sure it'll keep rising. Personally, my heart rate is going to keep rising until they get to splashdown. Fingers crossed they go that far.
Well, I get a little bit more calm, I guess, after the ship completes its ascent burn. the coast face is a little bit more, you know, smooth sometimes, except for ship 28 and ship 35. They start spinning. Even then, if it spins, it's like, okay, well, at least it went through ascent. For version 3, look, I can forgive that. If we start seeing something like Flight 1 and Flight 2, then I don't think I like that.
And a reminder, launch is optional, re-entry is mandatory. So, just a reminder on that.
Yeah, I remember on flight, was it Flight 3? Was it the first one that completed the ascent burn of the ship? I remember we were on stream, and I think at the time we had Adrian around for commentary, and he said something about along the lines of
Okay,
it's going
we're
down
about
the
to
Indian
reach
Ocean. I was
sub
like,
30
yeah,
minutes.
whatever
We're
the
getting
ship
closer
does
to
right now,
T0.
it's going down to the Indian Ocean. Like, once the ship completes its burn, it's yes or yes, it's gonna re-enter. What matters is in which shape. And of course on Flight 3, it was tumbling, and it did not survive that re-entry, of course, because it was not in the right orientation.
Okay,
Flight 4, though, that little flap that could, and they were able
Okay,
to survive.
I
to the
think we should
re-entry.
start seeing frost on the ship here.
Absolutely.
That, of course,
Oh.
the tweet from SpaceX confirming propellant load is now underway, something we could already see with our cameras, but...
My work is easy because
Oh,
I
come
use
on.
ClickUp. Here's how AI makes complex work simple. With ClickUp Brain, I get
and prepare for in 32 minutes from now. Alice, how about you? My heart rate is starting to rise. Are you more nervous than yesterday, or are you equally nervous, or less
know
nervous?
what?
I don't know.
I am. I'm probably more nervous today. Yesterday, I felt a little bit apprehensive because of the wet dress rehearsal the day before. There was something in the back of my mind that was making me think, oh, I just don't know that this is going to go well. And when the first pause happened, we're not going to use the S word
Okay.
at this point. When that first pause happened, there was definitely a moment of me thinking, this isn't going to happen. And a couple of friends of mine that work at SpaceX gave me indications that things weren't going quite the way they were hoping it was going to go. But they have also indicated today that they're feeling more confident. So I'm feeling more confident, which definitely gets the nerves going, doesn't it? It makes your heart pound that little bit faster.
Also, I don't think there's a
We're gonna
delay
actually
for
see this
now.
version 3. So
I think we're
launching
still on
on
track
which is just
to
the most
a T0 of, in my time zone,
Sawyer, I
to
was going to say that the weather has been so much
2:30
better today
a.m.
than it was yesterday, but
Yeah, it's very earlier in my time zone.
Fog, thanks to the tank farm. But it is true to say that today, I
Yeah.
mean, it just feels like everything's been going so much smoother than it did yesterday, both in
Okay,
terms of
I-
SpaceX and Mother Nature.
It really does. By the way, keep an eye out, chat, if you see the frost on the booster as well. That should be coming up momentarily here. But yeah, it just feels so much better. The skies seem clearer. We haven't had that hour of holds prior to it, which instills a little bit more confidence. And I will say, the last time we said, wow, this countdown is going a little too smooth, I don't know if it's going to go because everything's going too smoothly, that was Artemis 1. And guess what? It launched. So I'm hopeful that that's a good indication that we will see the same thing here in about 30 minutes and 40 seconds from now. Although, again, they had a couple little...
LOX
if they potentially
of
hold,
frost,
they might
liquid
be
oxygen
able to
frost
get
on the
it
ship.
Surprise,
Yeah,
as a reminder,
you see
they
that
can
there?
hold in. If
Yeah,
they want
that's
to, they
frost.
can hold at
I
T minus
think
40
it was
seconds.
already
If they do
visible,
that,
like,
it doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means, hey, they're gonna take a couple minutes to look at
like,
something and confirm they're really good. Sometimes it's
I think it was already visible before, but I just noticed
Indeed.
it.
One of the additions to Starship that SpaceX doesn't have with Falcon, that
Okay,
capability to
hopefully
hold
we...
for a few
Oh yeah,
minutes.
there's also
Of course,
LOX
we saw
frost on the
yesterday they
booster.
cannot hold for an infinite duration
Yeah.
of time. Eventually the propellant will get too warm and they'll have to continue on with not launching for the day. But they do have some hold, which is much better than Falcon's no hold, because once that vehicle starts fueling, it is locked in for a specific launch time. Starship, not so much. I've probably got about... I don't know, Alex, if we know exactly how long they can hold for, if they need to. I think it's about 15 minutes or so.
Might actually be a little bit less this time around. We're explaining this before, that perhaps they really want to keep those propellants colder than they probably allowed before. They have very spare performance, like lots of spare performance on the previous versions, because they were really not trying to push them. For this one in particular, it's carrying a bit of a heavier payload this time around. Remember, 22 of those satellites, 2 of those being actual real satellites, the other 20 being simulators. So it's a bit heavier, right? But also the fact that you kind of have to move a little bit more into operations. And so I would say, I think in the future there's probably not even going to be a hold at any point. because they're gonna jam out
LNG
this
frost.
with
That's
lots
liquid
of
methane
fuel,
frost.
and they're gonna need the full performance of this thing. They will not allow the propellant to warm up
Okay.
and basically become less dense. But for these test flights, even though they might want a bit more
Oh.
performance, they can still probably hold. Again, yesterday was less than 10 minutes, maybe like 7-8 minutes or so. But yeah.
And there you go, we're seeing the frost line rising on the methane and oxygen tanks now on Starship 39, which is great to see. And yeah, not really seeing any clouds in the sky right now. It's pretty blue, which is going to be great news for our tracking teams, both at the Rocket Ranch Outpost, where we were a few moments ago, also at the Margaritaville Beach Resort, South Padre
Oh,
Island,
we're already sub
Isla
30
Island,
minutes.
Island, where Das is watching on from. I've even been there, and I can't even get the name of the island.
Prop
right.
load should
South
be
Padre
completed
Island,
2
SPI.
minutes before
And, we're very grateful
T0.
to both Margaritaville and Rocket Ranch for allowing us
There it is.
to track this launch from there. That is the view from the hotel. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of haze. Maybe we can wish that away. But at least looking up, there is no cloud to be seen. So fingers crossed when it clears the pad, views and visibility will improve. I am hearing SpaceX has now confirmed that the good old hydraulic pin in the ship quick disconnect arm has been fixed. That issue has been resolved overnight, just like we saw teams working up there overnight on Starbase Live. So that's good news that SpaceX has managed to work through that issue.
So that's
I think that was probably obvious, because if they hadn't, I'm not sure they'd be 27 minutes away from launch right now. But there you go, good to hear, official confirmation. The pin has been resolved.
Also, I think that liquid methane load on the booster has also started, although that big transfer tube has to be filled up first for it to be visible.
Very excited about the birds tweeting.
Okay.
Yes, we have no control over the wildlife. They really are there, and they really are providing that for us. We're not playing some playback.
Also,
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, I'm just making sure that everything here is good.
It sounds like the wildlife is also, adding to the ambiance of, a bit of relaxation. Just, as we ease into what could potentially be a very dramatic flight. So there's a reason why SpaceX says when they light the engines, it's excitement guaranteed.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where you never really know what's going to happen, because this is still essentially a test flight, because not into orbit yet, but this is, as much as it looks very similar to the past 2 versions of Starship, this one is brand new. It is a new design for the booster.
Look at that frost,
3 grid fins,
frost
it's got
lines.
integrated hot
I mean,
sintering.
look at that frost.
Inside
It's
has essentially
creeping
the
up
entire Falcon 9
ever so
transfer
closely.
tube in it.
Damn.
The ship has different tile layouts. The flaps have been improved. Again, the interiors of these are so different from what they were before. So it may look similar on the outside, but who knows what's going to happen. It should be exciting, as SpaceX always says, and excited to finally see a launch from this new pad that has been under construction, it feels like, for years.
Yeah, I mean, they started stacking these things in the tower, at least, in 2024. 2 years ago. So this flight and this generation of Starship has been a long time coming. Okay, we're now under 25.5 minutes left to go in the...
Oh. Oh. Okay, this is kind of scary. I don't want this to happen mid-flight. Okay.
There we go. Okay. Continuing to count down through 25 minutes now. We'll get there in the end, everybody. Don't worry. We'll get there in the end.
I feel like the cameras are just as excited as we are. That's why they keep blacking out.
Yeah, and a reminder, all these views are ours. So everyone who's been helping with the support, we appreciate it so much. These are all of our views, our cameras that are out there, including one that you saw that close-up view before. That's about
Okay,
1,000
I
feet away
posted
from the
another
rocket.
story on my
If I'm
Instagram.
overcalling our
I don't know
teaser
if my
trailer
friends
over
could
that,
see that, but I
super
want them
close
to
line.
watch IFT
We've done everything we
although
can
they're
to try
not
and protect
interested.
those cameras, but it should,
Like,
again,
in case if
site
there's some of
guaranteed bring
the,
some
in
great
case if
views.
some of them are still awake.
Yeah, I feel like Jack needs to
Oh.
start putting a poll out there already. Do we think these cameras are going to survive?
Okay,
I'd love
there's
to know what
already
you think about what the conditions going to be from that danger
LNG
zone.
frost on the booster. I guess that very big transfer tube
I
is already
mean,
filled.
Danger Van has some stories to tell. I hope Danger Trailer won't have the same stories to tell. Maybe more water deluge than damage from a plume or exhaust. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but we are getting propellant load confirmation from SpaceX now. They are at 42% and rising on methane on the ship, 50.6% oxygen on the ship, 30.
Oh, this is ad.
Urine
Sorry
starch,
about that.
their brand new super duper expedited loading procedure, which they've been proving a few times at this point. They've done, of course, we had the full tanking yesterday for yesterday's launch attempt. They did a partial wet dress the day before. They've done a full wet dress I think about a week before that, and of course they've been tanking the individual vehicles through their individual test campaigns as well. The venting is getting so big that it's now starting to appear on our long-range cameras. I mean, you have to put in some effort to get between this camera and Starship, considering that's, 100 meters in the air, but the venting is managing to do it nonetheless. I mean, all credit to them. They're managing, the venting is managing to reach that high. Speaking of venting, Sawyer, we're about to see some chilling of the engines. Why does SpaceX need to chill down the engines?
Okay.
Surely they're really hot because,
Okay,
they're burning and they're really hot. So why do they need to be cold?
Okay, things are getting down right now. We are on track for a launch on the start of the launch window of Starship.
Going through it. So if you have super cold
This
propellants,
is absolutely
and you
amazing.
put it into something that's room temperature, if you put
Okay,
anything that has such an extreme temperature difference together, like something hot that's glass into a microwave and it cracks, or something super cold and then you touch it and it cracks, that's what you don't want to happen with a rocket engine. That's what you don't want to happen with the propellant lines, which they've also done up to this point. So it's basically starting to slowly chill them down so that those super chilled propellants, as they run through it, don't cause any cracks. And it's funny, you were talking about the venting kind of blocking the view. All this time for versions 1 and 2 over at pad 1, it was once it lifted off we would have the obscured view because of the exhaust. This is the one time where it's the exception, where now we should have the venting covering the rocket up to this point and the exhaust not covering it once we go to launch with that bi-directional flame diverter.
Okay.
Indeed. That new flame diverter is one of the key visual elements.
Let me
and
just...
that looked incredible for the static fires. It
Okay.
turns out that NASA kind of knew what they were doing when they built the Saturn V launch pads back in the 1960s. This is going to be a really
Sorry,
beautiful
I'm kind of
sight,
sick today as well.
I'm so excited. I don't think
yeah, like
anyone
yesterday.
on this stream is not. We've all been waiting for this for so long. It feels like, what, 7 months since we last seen a spaceship in action. This version 3 is going to be something else to see, and what a marvel we're all looking at. I think we're looking at the response now about what they did with the pin. Alex, do you want to give us an update of what kind of information we're getting from the SpaceX team about what they did to fix that pin issue from yesterday?
They tried to solve it. Basically trying to adjust the arm.
Okay, we are about to reach sub 20 minutes. Looks like we're halfway done with prop load on liquid methane and liquid oxygen on ship. Do not know what's the level for booster.
Changing some of the software as well on how that works so that it doesn't get jammed at the time of retraction. And yeah, that happens after that T-minus 40-second point in the countdown where, ahead of retracting that arm at T0, they do that unlatch, sort of like, if you were to unlock your door sort of thing, and then you pull the handle and that sort of thing and try to open, that happens at T0. The unlocking happens a few seconds before that, after that T-minus 40-second point.
And Sawyer, now we're through that kind of T-minus 20-minute mark. Of course, as you said, no T-minus 20-minute vent from Starship like we see from Falcon 9. But from now on, pretty much until 2 minutes to go, we're just going to sit back and not relax because we are full of adrenaline, but it's just propellant load from here on out.
Yeah, pretty much. At this point, it is a large vehicle, as we've talked about, and they have a lot of propellant to load, so it is loading it up at this point. But it is much faster than it used to be. I mean, we thought it was fast originally with the earlier versions where it was under an hour to load the vehicle. The fact that now it's under 40 minutes to load the vehicle is still something that boggles my mind, no matter how many times I mention it on stream or mention it at all. So, yeah, at this point we wait for the prop load. There's not much else we can do, which that's the hardest part.
Okay,
as
we are now
said.
getting closer to that T0.
This camera is in the dunes, as you can tell. Super
Godspeed.
wide lens, and we haven't
Block
clipped it
3,
on
the Block
purpose.
3
That is
stack
some
featuring.
protection in front
Okay,
of
okay,
the
okay.
camera to try and prevent anything going into the camera that shouldn't be there. I think you can fill in the gaps there as to why that camera has that extra shielding.
Yeah, we are
Just
definitely
like,
not
the
halfway done.
ship has thermal shielding, our
ship
cameras
prop
have
load.
physical shielding. Kinetic shielding? I don't know. There we go. We have some experience with that. Moving on, 18 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. And again, the heart rate continues to rise. There's still a lot of birds flying around the area. The wildlife certainly are taking an interest as to what is happening right now. I'm not sure they'll be so interested when they light the engines and take off. They might quickly vacate the premises, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Fingers crossed they don't get in the way of any of our camera views.
Yeah, and a reminder,
I'm
like, for
also-
that view, these are pretty zoomed in, so it's not like the bird is flying directly next
Oh,
to
yes.
the rocket, like the rocket's going to fly into it. These birds are a lot farther away. Birds in camera are closer than they appear, or farther than they appear.
Okay.
Thank you, Sawyer. I'm also just seeing now some confirmation. It looks like the brand newly sworn in Deputy Administrator of NASA, Matt Anderson, was on board one of the F5 jets we saw flying around, which was what we saw earlier on in the launch stream a couple of hours ago or so. So that was pretty cool. And he says, thanks for the flight, NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. So I guess we have to assume that Jared Isaacman was piloting that jet. So that's a pretty exciting thing to see indeed. The Administrator and Deputy Administrator of NASA flying around the Starbase launch site a couple hours before launch was scheduled to take place. Welcome to the future, everybody. I'm very excited to see this future. I mean, Alice, this is the future we've all been waiting for, and you know, NASA.
Okay, we
under
are getting
the,
closer to T0.
Kind of this current administration and Jared Isaacman, they want to kick it into another gear. It seems like.
Absolutely. Of course, Spaceship and SpaceX and Starship are going to play a huge part in the future of NASA. They are pivotal in the whole Artemis program. So there's a lot invested in this. People want to see this succeed. They need it to succeed for Artemis to move forward. So there's a lot hinging on today. And I know SpaceX really feels this. Before, they were in a kind of more relaxed term. They were thinking that they would go at their own speed as much as they want to. And it's very much an R&D phase. If they failed, it wasn't the end of the world. Now they know that this is there's a lot more hinging on this. They have got the hopes of the whole space agency hinging on this launch. So there's a lot of people there that are going to be watching this, hoping and praying that this goes exactly to plan today.
Yep.
And of course, Sawyer, often we talk about the quote-unquote space race between the United States and China. There's a commercial space race going on because this is one of the two potential lunar landers. The other is from Blue Origin. And, you know, some good old-fashioned billionaire competition between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. That's also going to play. Do you think that's also going to play a big part in today's flight?
Well, I mean, this flight has to be successful for them to be able to proceed with the Human Landing Services program, which is basically NASA contracting out to Blue and to SpaceX to create the lunar lander itself. The crew will launch on Orion, as of now on SLS, and then rendezvous and dock with a lander vehicle. As of right now, the plan was originally that SpaceX Starship would do the first 2 lunar landings, and the third would be done by Blue Origin. But just last year, that was changed to whoever can get their vehicle done and ready first will be the one that NASA selects to land on the moon with. So getting this done and getting ready for a 2027 Earth test flight with it and being that first one on the surface of the moon is, I think, very much on the forefront of SpaceX's mind.
And I'm also now hearing we have confirmation from SpaceX on that new booster profile with the engines. It will be 5 engines through the hot staging sequence and then 33 engines for the boost back burn. And that is going to be absolutely nuts, because the previous generation of booster, it was 3 Raptors staying on for hot staging and 13 Raptors running for the boost back burn. They are tripling the amount of thrust they are running for that boost back burn. If you thought that Starship was going to be cooking it, headed uphill with a max Q 45 seconds after launch, I mean, Godspeed Booster 19, the G-forces that thing is going to be pulling when it's firing with 33 Raptors with no ship on top, headed back to the launch site. Of course, it's not coming to the launch site this time around, but coming back to the Gulf.
Okay, we are getting closer to the T0.
That is going to be bonkers.
And with less propellant. With less propellant on board, too. It's going to be even lighter.
That's going to be like thrust to weight ratio 1,000,000. I don't know. That's like, you know, in KSP when you turn on cheats and you just turn up the maximum thrust of the engine and you just, you know, blast your way into orbit in 5 seconds. I mean, this is just going to be... Okay. I guess we're all about to find out what's going to happen because, well, in 13 minutes time, fingers crossed, these engines will light and we'll be headed to space with Starship 39 and Booster 19.
Okay, we are sub 13 minutes.
And landing happening over the following 6 minutes. That's going to be interesting. One way to find out. I suppose you have to stay tuned.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Indeed.
Things are getting much more exciting right now.
Or catching your eye, Alex?
Other than everything looking good, range is clear, weather looks amazing, vehicle and path look healthy from all that they
We are now.
Of course, some things might
minus
always,
12 minutes and 30
pop
seconds
up,
from
as we saw
launch.
yesterday. Everything looked good in principle, but then as they went through that T-minus 40-second gate,
Okay.
it started to act up on the pad, as we saw.
Look at that
right?
beautiful machine there.
That's sometimes
Wow.
a bunch of things that are a little bit
Okay.
more out of their control. But other than that, we are counting down. We're still tracking that opening of the window at 5:30 p.m. Central in about 12 minutes from now.
Okay. I don't know when
Under
ship
12 minutes now,
ship
as we
prop will be
continue to
complete.
progress towards launch. Good fueling on both the ship and booster so far. Of course, that is going to be continuing over the next few minutes here, over the next 9 minutes or so. Of course, they get as close to launch as possible with that propellant load, but they do have to shut off at some point before launch so they can clear out all of the ground equipment and all of the lines running, you know, that are buried within the concrete bunkers to make sure that there's no residual prop left over, which could cause an issue when it comes to launch itself.
Let me just check if I'm good for
booster propellant load to wrap up 2 minutes and 50 seconds before launch.
Yeah.
So that is the next major milestone. We'll be keeping our eyes and ears peeled so we can make sure we call that out when that happens.
Sub 11 minutes.
Looking on from, I believe this is from our river site. Of course, we've got plenty of cameras.
I think
tracked
ship prop
on
load is
Starship
complete.
Right now, and if we have any views we can't bring to you on the live stream, we will have the replays afterwards as well. So even if you see Starship launch and everything goes brilliantly, don't go anywhere, because we will have post-flight analysis and those replays to come from every single camera we have deployed at Starbase, and there are many of them. Trust me.
T-minus
deployed all around
10 minutes,
Starbase.
30 seconds.
WISE will be bringing us some of their trademark slow-mo as well after the
Okay.
launch. Fingers crossed everything progresses smoothly over the next 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay,
Again, deep breaths as the heart rate continues to rise as we prepare for Starship's 12th flight.
we might still take that T
Alex,
minus
that
40
venting
second
is
hold,
just-
by the ways.
Again, it catches me off guard every time. The new vents from the tank farm are just humongous.
T minus
Yeah, they
10
shut off.
minutes
That's the new
prior to flight.
fan vent it's this fan that is enclosed in this box,
Okay.
right? And they have different vents from different parts of the
Ship prop is
farm
probably
coming together in
complete.
that
Booster
area,
prop
and
should
then
be
that
complete.
fan
Maybe at
shoots
T
off
minus
that
2
venting
minutes
up,
prior to
and
flight.
so it then
Okay.
gets distributed by the wind. You can see that, you can tell where
Yeah,
the wind is
yeah.
going
I
by the
think
way that this thing
okay.
is sort of being pushed to. It's funny. But,
Okay.
you know, at least we have other views which we can use to track this progress as we count down here to launch in under 9.5 minutes.
By the way, this
Absolutely.
vehicle is carrying boilerplate Starlings,
I
two
know
of
Gaz
which
has already
might
done this
have
earlier in the
cameras,
stream, but
as
I'm gonna
stated
do it
there.
again, because there are just a few more of them
Okay.
watching now than they were 3 hours ago. So I'm going to ask you where you are watching from. It's so amazing to see, you know, all of the countries of the world, it feels like, show up in chat when we have a big event like this, because the world is truly watching. You know, the world is watching South Texas this afternoon / evening / morning, wherever you happen to be
T-minus 9
watching
minutes
from
prior to
on
flight.
planet Earth. Okay, chat is going quite quickly. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. The moderators might not be too happy with me.
I'm trying to keep up with them. I've seen a New Mexico in there. That's my home state, and lots of UK's in there as well. It's great to see lots of people staying
I
up
like
late
this
over
video.
in Europe watching this, and Norway I've seen, and all over the
Okay.
US. It's incredible, isn't it? How many people are tuning in for this? We're currently up to about 95,000 people watching our stream and getting ready for this launch.
Saw some Space Coast in there too. Yep.
Looking at that booster there, we
Space
can
Coast
see that
represent.
frost
I'm seeing
level
Ireland,
rising very
Greece,
fast.
Sydney, Denmark. Okay, it's going. I
Fast
completely
like it.
lost it. It's going too fast once again. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as we are approaching 8 minutes to go until launch. Again,
okay.
a deep breath.
T-minus
a deep
8
breath. They do
minutes
help.
prior to flight.
I'm going to convince myself that they help with lowering the heart rate
Yeah.
as we progress towards
Everybody
launch.
remember to breathe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we are still on track to launching right at the start of Starship's launch window.
I agree. There was something yesterday that just when I joined you.
We
all, 'cause
do
we
have a
were
lot
out
of
by that
window
point,
for
I think I
hold.
felt like
However, I do
things
believe
were
that the
gonna
vehicle
go.
only
I
has
don't know, there was just
15
something in the
minutes
back of my mind
of
that felt like
hold
it was
time
definitely
as
today.
its
I keep
cra-
feeling
its
my
cryogenic
neck and
fuel
my
could
heart
like
is pounding.
boil off dangerously
You were
to a
asking me
point where they're
yesterday
gonna have to
if I
recycle.
wore one of those watches to keep an eye on it. I'm like, no, I just need to. I know because my neck's definitely going crazy.
Okay,
Oh, wow, it's closed. We're just over
You're-
7 minutes away.
Keep in mind that we still might be
it's,
taking
it's really cool.
a
And
T
it's,
minus 40-second
well,
hold.
This is more cool than the anticipation for watching, but there's the reason we get there's so much anticipation. It's because we're so excited.
Okay,
to see
T-minus
this thing
7
fly.
minutes
And
before launch.
finally, it could become real. You know, all of the dreams and hopes of the SpaceX engineers who have been working on this version of Starship.
Okay,
for so
things
long.
are getting much
Fingers
more exciting
crossed
right now.
Those dreams will be
I
delivered upon.
bumped
in
up my
6
mic
minutes and
volume
40
here. Oh, that's
seconds
Jared
from now.
Isaac, man.
It looks like Jared Isaacman is at SpaceX.
Coming in here, and of course, you got 2 orbital launch pads out there and a rocket that's just looking fantastic, especially from the air. It's good.
Yeah, you said you got a new job. It's been a slow start to your first 6 months. I mean, you only sent humans around the moon for the first time since the Apollo days. Bill and I kind of nerded out a little bit. Like, that was the last thing I worked on when I was at NASA, so seeing them go was just insane. Like, how's everybody feeling after this?
Okay.
Part of us too?
Okay, things are going very fast right now.
That was a long time in the making, so I got to show up at the right time to see everybody put all that effort to put it in action.
Hopefully no ads show up whatsoever right now. I do not want that to happen at all.
For humankind to the stars.
That would be catastrophic.
For 10 days, and we're getting ready for what comes next. We're going to start stacking Artemis 3. We got a lot of the hardware in the VAB already. We're hoping to even get out to the pad before the end of the year, do another wet dress. So,
all right.
And we're looking forward to seeing this thing fly, because hopefully at some point in the not too distant future, we're gonna join up in Earth orbit.
Yeah, I mean, what's coming up next, and ultimately, like, based on the moon, that's the big focus. Like, what's kind of the why? Like, why are we doing this for everybody?
Oh, well, I mean, and yes,
my work is easy because I
Oh.
Here's how I keep track.
Okay, I receive. Okay.
I start by brain dumping.
Thank God it's not during flight.
Why are
Okay.
we doing that? Well, it's for a lot of the shirts I see around here, which is go to the moon, return to the moon, build a moon base on the South Pole, interact with the water ice, right? Maybe work on some of the skills we're gonna need.
Okay. Oh gosh. We are now T minus 5 minutes from launch.
You got other things coming up too. You got Nancy Grace Roman. That telescope's gonna launch later this summer.
There's an ad on my TV.
NASA right now.
Yeah, right. Well, SpaceX, we're
Okay,
custom to try and make life multiplanetary. We're super
okay.
honored, excited to be part of this entire Artemis program.
There.
Really
Okay.
excited to see Starship, you know, sending people to the moon, all of the different pieces working together. It's going to be a really exciting future.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me here. It's great, great to see everybody again. I know a lot.
Okay,
of
things
it.
okay.
So we're all rooting for you, and we're looking forward to meeting up next year in Earth orbit.
All right, man. I'll let you jump back in there. We got about 4 minutes to go. Just toss it back down to Kate and Jake.
I'm not Kate, nor am I Jake, but we will continue tracking as we head towards launch. Alex, we are now 4¼ minutes from T0. What are some of the things we need to be keeping an eye out for as we progress to the very pointy end of the countdown?
Okay.
Yeah, we're basically just about.
I think I'm good here.
Until the booster propellant
let me just check my stream one last time here.
ship propellant load complete. Very similar as we said before to the Falcon 9 end of propellant load sequence, where it's like first the booster.
Okay.
Stage. So
Okay.
for the second stage we call it.
Like test.
More fancy
Okay.
and less like the Falcon 9 second stage, but it's still a second stage.
Okay, guys.
It doesn't
T
really change
minus
that much.
3 minutes and 30 seconds prior to launch. I believe booster prop load should be done right now. By now, looks like that the liquid methane tank on the booster is filled to the brim with that common dome fully white. Okay.
But yeah, everything's still looking good. So hopefully we go through all that T-minus 40-second point.
Indeed. Alice, do you have any final kind of thoughts on what we will, fingers crossed, see in 3 minutes from now?
Light this candle. I feel like this is going to happen. I don't know what it is about today, but today feels definitely far more.
Okay, T minus 3 minutes and counting.
I feel like this is going to breeze through, and yesterday is going to be a distant memory. They're going to do it, and things are going to go to plan. I've got a very positive feeling about this.
Same question to you, Sawyer. What's going through your mind right now?
They're going to do it. It's SpaceX. They're actually going to do it this time. We'll see if they hold at T-minus 40 seconds. They have the option to. As a
Okay. T minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds. We do not know what will happen to the entire stack once it lifts off the pad. This is the first Block 3 stack. So
look at that. They're basically 97% if you round all of the tanks. Fuel on both booster and ship right now. Almost full on ship, almost full on booster. That is great news indeed. I have to say, I hope SpaceX will be go for launch. I know everybody here is go for launch. Chat, are you go for launch? We need to know if you guys are go for launch. Because if
T minus 2 minutes prior to launch.
Maybe someone needs to phone up SpaceX and let them know that chat needs a minute to get ready. Okay, no, chat's ready. Chat's very ready. Chat, yes. Lots of
what I want to
chat
see
right
here
now.
is
Everybody
33
to
Raptor 3 engines
and
lit.
yeah,
Okay.
we're excited with you.
Hopefully,
we are 1 minute and 40
pad
seconds away
B
from Starship Flight
remains
12.
intact after launch. That is the first thing I want to see. After that, we should also see the entire stack perform a successful ascent till hot stage. We do not know when hot stage will occur of this new vehicle. It used to be 2 minutes 40 seconds. We do not know of it. Okay.
The inner 13 steering there.
Yeah.
T minus 1 minute 20 seconds.
Gimbaling Raptors.
We might take a 40-second hold. I like to know that.
The inner ones do, because they have, as you can see there, very helpful from this launch mount camera. They have that
Okay,
extra
1 minute,
clearance
10
there
seconds.
As we approach 60 seconds until launch. As a reminder, SpaceX has a gate at 40 seconds. If they need to hold, they can. But fingers crossed, they have resolved the problems.
Sub
They are
1
able
minute.
to push straight through that gate, which will be coming up in a few seconds' time. Of course, if they do have to hold, there'll be a little bit of a delay before.
Okay.
Fingers crossed, everything is good to go for launch in 45 seconds from now.
Had a good feeling about that.
Are they gonna take a hold?
Let's see, are we continuing to push through?
Has hold.
And we have a hold.
Oh god. We have a hold.
Once again, waiting for the
That's
pushback.
normal.
So it might be reset really quickly.
This is the first Block 3 Starship, so they'll
like
definitely take a hold.
I
However,
heard
hopefully
event
they do
and
not
clock
stay
is
that hold
rolling.
for too long. Hopefully everything's
There we
good.
go. Clock is running for launch.
Oh,
Stand
shit.
by for the detonation suppression system. That's what we want to
Uh-huh.
hear. SpaceX are go for launch.
Okay, we
We're
should
gonna stand by
we
for
should
the
see
deluge. That'll be a
water
really
deluge
and then, of course, the
and top
ignition
deck.
and top deck going
Okay,
on.
okay, let's just see
Starship
what happens
3
now.
might be about to fly. There's the rear vent. There comes the deluge.
There.
There's the top deck. We should be seeing ignition.
Top deck. Top deck.
There's ignition.
Ignition. There it is.
And I believe we have liftoff of Starship
And
Version 3.
liftoff. We have liftoff of the entire BlackBerry stack. Booster 19 and Ship 39 are off the are off the pad. They have now cleared the tower, and they're now doing pitch program. There it is. We have mock diamonds. That's probably all 33 engines lit. I do not know if all 33 engines are lit. Here it is doing pitch program. Holy shit! Holy, look at that. There it is. It's doing roll program now, and it's now doing pitch program as well. Look at that. That's just absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Next event here should be Max Q, where the vehicle will be already facing max dynamic pressure. Once it passes that point, then the vehicle will perform hot stage a few minutes, like seconds or minutes later.
This is the period of
Okay, there it is. That's Max Q. Okay,
meets the thicker parts of the atmosphere, but there we go. We're
Oh,
pushing through, and
oh.
it looks like we're getting a little bit of a vapor cone.
That's
even
good.
forming there
That looks
as the
good.
tail falls away.
Okay,
from
those are
Starship.
contrails.
This is a spectacular ascent of Starship version 3. That looks like
Wow.
a flawless liftoff. Passing
Look at
the
that.
moon in the background.
That was so cool.
We will be going there eventually with Starship, but for now it's a suborbital test flight. The future destination in the background. For now, the destination is the Indian
There it is. There's
Ocean, and
onboard
Starship
cameras.
continues to progress
That's Ship
down
39
the
and
line.
Booster
We are passing
19.
through 20
Looks like
kilometers in
I do not
altitude,
know if
and
stage
with
set would be
healthy
much earlier in the Block
on
3
Booster
vehicle.
19. We're a few seconds away from main engine cutoff.
Look at that.
One engine off on the outer ring of 20.
Keep in mind that
Okay,
both
we've got
vehicles
one
will
round
not be
three.
recovered in this flight. They're going to be expended. They're going to be landing in the water, okay? There will be no catch attempt today. Get ready for hot stage.
That's still the vast majority of engines. We'll have to
Hopefully
see how
ship
many of
performs
those
a
can
full
reroute
ascent and
the
doesn't
boost
lose
back
any
burn on
engines
Booster
during
19,
ascent.
but for
And
now,
hopefully
Ship
booster
39
performs
and
successful
Booster 19
boost
doing
back burn.
A spectacular job. Let's stand by for stage separation.
Get ready for Miko. Most engine cutoffs should occur. There it is, Miko. Hot stage.
There is ship engine.
There it
ignition.
is.
And we have
Boosters
separation.
separated successfully. Okay, come on, you can do this.
Already facing the
Yes!
opposition.
Yes!
That
There it
is
is.
an expedited flip in the
Oh
back.
shit!
Already the booster is losing a little bit
Wait.
of control. Or will it, can it correct?
Wait.
Looks like a
Come
little
on.
bit maybe of an over-energetic spin from the booster. Looks like it can correct. It looks like it has the authority to correct.
Come on, come on. Yes, yeah, okay, the booster, hopefully the booster's okay. That looks weird, but, ooh. Okay, booster has lost a lot of engines.
Good news from the ship.
The booster has lost all engines. Okay, that doesn't look good. Booster 19, it looks like Booster 19's in kind of a tricky situation right now. Oh.
Okay. Again, today is a test flight.
Yes, this is absolutely beautiful. Hot stage has occurred.
Okay, we are currently
Oh
on
shit.
2 vacuum raptors and those 3 sea level raptors.
Oh shit.
And you can see there, I believe,
Oh,
on
God.
the left-hand side, that is the booster losing control. And you can see
Okay,
there
this is
from the
absolutely
booster
chaotic right now.
booster
Both
19,
ship and booster are in tricky
with,
situations right now.
boost back burn. That will
Oh,
I think that's the ship
this
in
is
the
absolutely just
background. You can
beautiful.
see the booster falling back down to
Holy.
the dock below, and the ship is burning in the background on 5 Raptor engines, 2 vacuums, 3 sea levels. One of the vacuums has shut
Okay,
down early, but the other
looks like
five
Ship
engines
33 is
seem to
about to
be
perform a
continuing
Ship
to
30.
fire.
Okay, looks like Ship 39 is about to perform a Ship 33 right now.
They mentioned that they have
And Booster 19 might be performing a Booster 10 here. Okay.
compensate. Yeah, one of the Raptor vacuum engines went out.
Okay, we already know that the entire stack is already condemned at start. They're going to be expended, but this is a very off-nominal ascent profile here. The booster is going to perform a very off-nominal descent profile. It hasn't performed a boost back burn.
On the ship, the booster is stumbling
Oh.
as it comes back through.
This is amazing, actually. This is the first Block 3 vehicle. Everything has changed, even the Raptor engines. And I'm very happy it didn't perform a IFT one. It didn't tumble. It actually performed hot stage.
We were not expecting to recover this booster at all on this flight. SpaceX were hoping for a good boost back and a splashdown in the Gulf. Looks like it's going to be a bit more of an energetic splashdown than they perhaps were initially expecting, but that was a very, very quick flip from the booster. I mean, that was absolutely bonkers to see live on screen in front of us. In the meantime,
the boost. Here's the booster. There's the booster engine counts. Look at that. That's absolutely amazing. The booster's now going into a ballistic descent into the water. Okay, the ship is still ascending, although it has lost one RVAC engine. Looks like the ship is still good.
Even on a reduced subset of engines, because of course they only need the 3.
Look at that booster, it's tumbling. Okay, it's already doomed. It's already doomed. Look at that, it's just beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful.
Splashdown burn for landing in the Indian Ocean. So
look at that. Look at those booster cams.
That's
just oh, okay, it's tumbling.
Yeah,
this is
the roll's picking up.
Looks
like too. We'll see if they end up actually trying.
Looks like it has control here.
For the,
I think the booster's still going to try. Yeah, it's just maintaining altitude control. I don't think it's gonna perform a landing burn. Holy shit! Okay, look at that. The booster. The booster's performing a entry. Performing entry here. Holy. Oh.
They're going for a
ignition! Oh, what the hell? Oh!
Aborted boost back burn, but they're going for a landing burn. The booster
okay, there it is. The booster has probably hit the ocean hard. Okay, goodbye, Booster 19. Booster 19 was destroyed. Okay, Booster 19 has definitely been destroyed. Look at that. Look at Ship 39 here. Ship 39 hopefully doesn't perform a IFT 7 and IFT 8 type ascent. Hopefully hopefully doesn't end up like Ship 35 here. Hopefully it has altitude control here.
That was a very spicy booster flight indeed. Okay, we're getting the gadgets now to show us the exact orientation of the ship. It looks stable, Alex. It looks stable.
It does.
Yep.
It lost that RVAC engine, but again, it's got engine out capability. So the rest of the engines, the 5 remaining engines, will just burn for a
we have passed the point where usually either Ship 33 or Ship 34 gets lost. Okay. At this point, Ship 33 and Ship 34 was lost during ascent. Although Raptor 3 is very different from Raptor 2. Plumbing here could be kind of simple here. Okay, there it is.
Something's glowing.
It's glowing. The engines here are glowing.
By the way, that timeline you see on the bottom, obviously it's a little off.
Wow.
The super landing booster.
Look at that.
So it may be still burning when the bottom thing says Seco.
Exactly. Don't be surprised if those are a little off. But as you can see there, those are 3 sea plumes.
Look at that. Ship 39 is powering off into the void of space. It's about to experience Seco, second engine caught off, where first it will shut down the outer ring RVAC engines before shutting down those sea level engines a few seconds later. Okay, get ready for that to occur.
Again, don't be surprised when we push.
There it is. We should see RVAC shut down. Maybe, or maybe that's just a very early timeline. Okay, maybe Burn will.
Gorgeous view right now. I mean, look at that camera.
Yeah, Burn should. Okay, never mind. Burn should last a bit longer due to that engine out. But look at that. The ship is enduring its ascent here.
Looks like the Raptors do continue. They're continuing to burn. I can see the plume there.
Yeah.
They're continuing to burn. Extended burn from Ship 39 as it has that engine out capability.
Wow. Look at that. Okay, I think the ship will not be performing a Ship 34 today, actually.
It's flying
as well. I don't think it would be performing Ship 33, but Ship 34 would be more likely. Although it's not going to be performing that today. Look at that. Oh, okay, there's an ad. There is an ad. Okay, that. Okay.
There we go.
It hasn't.
Seiko.
Okay, there it is. Seiko.
Proper Seiko.
That is Seiko.
5 Raptor
Ship
engines.
has
Let me know if
made
you
it
hear
to
normal
Seiko.
Insertion.
This is the first Block 3 starship
SpaceX.
flying with our Raptor 3 engines. And it has already performed Seiko. This is amazing. Okay. All that's left here is to see whether or not the ship has altitude control.
The voice of Dan Hewitt, SpaceX Communications.
There we go.
There it is.
Activation system is off, so
Okay.
it's now disabled.
Yes. Okay. Ship 39 has okay. Ship 39 is now in the coasting
SpaceX
phase
is
here.
very happy. We do have a Starship in
Okay,
space.
now we should just see if Ship
But are we on the
39 has
trajectory? That is the key.
altitude control here. This is absolutely amazing. This is an amazing first Block 3 Starship flight. Look at that. Wow.
Incredibly excited to see Starship there in space. We are awaiting the call out of nominal insertion, so we're going to stand by for that. We can see the flaps moving here, actuating. But wow, the cheers here in the
Wow.
water are certainly almost as loud.
Okay,
as
that looks a bit worrying here. Ship 39 is
Just say to the negative Nancy's in the chat.
turning by yaw here. Hopefully that's just normal.
This is impressive.
Okay, yeah, those are reaction control thrusters there. You see that?
This has gotten so much further than the first flight of V2 did and the
Oh.
first flight of V1. So this is progress, and this is what we want to see. Not 100%
Yes.
perfect, but it's great progress nonetheless. And we will still wait for that confirmation from SpaceX there in that nominal trajectory headed towards the Indian Ocean. We usually would have heard that by now, so we will.
Okay,
stand by
this
to
is
see if we
absolutely
get that
amazing.
call or if
Look
they're
at that.
Slightly off nominal trajectory.
I'm interested on that vent there. I wonder if
Ah.
that's a proper thruster that they're firing, or
Oh yeah, okay,
the pin
okay, I
of-
completely forgot about that. Looks like that maybe the ship could possibly be terminated if it's in an off nominal trajectory, as I said there. Hopefully the ship is in the nominal
I
trajectory.
was surprised by the booster. It lit all 33 engines at once. It did the liftoff. It only lost one engine on the way up, which is already way more than flight 1 in that sense, right? So yeah.
And it used to be that they had 3 engine out at least capability on version 1. And with the power of the Raptor V3s, I wouldn't be surprised if they could have more engines out if needed and still be okay on the booster portion of flight.
Yeah.
I'm loving all the people calling out flat earthers. Yes, you can see the curvature right there. You're right.
Also, it looks like the ship is kind of rotating up right now. Like its orientation to where it is in relation to the Earth looks a little bit different. Again, that could be that either venting or...
This is
thrusters that
absolutely
we
beautiful.
have
Look
to
at Ship 39.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. Is that what we were expecting for it to be?
Look at
tipped
that.
up that much?
Hopefully the ship has altitude control here. I do not want the ship... Oh!
Of the satellites. They
Looks like the ship is controlling its...
probably.
Yeah, it looks like the ship has control over its yaw, its 3 axes here. Yeah, it does, I think. Okay. Look at that.
Starlink simulators, and so we are now.
This is much farther than Okay, this is much farther than how far Block 1 and Block 2 gone. This is a very reliable vehicle, actually.
That happens. We saw that,
Yeah.
for example, on Flight 9. They reached space.
Okay.
They reached the coast face and everything, but the ship was not.
Okay, I just can't stop.
That,
Okay.
deployment sequence. So
I believe what should come next now is the dummy Starlink deployment. They're gonna be opening that Pez dispenser.
By
Oh,
the way, we have breaking news. With these ships successful
Okay,
in space, we have a new design here. This is the Flight 12 architecture. So everything that we've seen new with this flight so far on a tumbler. So that way you can keep your drinks warm and keep your thermal protection system warm too. This is a brand new design by Jacques, the same person that designed our patch there. Beautiful design. So yeah, you see,
Look at
you've
that.
got, the new pad, you've got the new boosters, you've got the upgraded Raptor 3s. all of that in that design. And again, it'll keep your
Okay.
joints either super
I'm
cold
gonna
or
be
super
making a
warm.
story
I've used a very
here
similar one
in my
that we have around
Instagram
the shop all the time when I'm
showing
the
the
team
little
members
recap
for
of what
launches.
happened in
So
IFT
if you want to cheers and
12.
toast
In case if
to
any of my
a
friends
nice
are
little
awake
toasty
at this
right
point,
now,
although they are not
you
awake,
could check that out.
when they wake up, they're gonna be seeing what they missed.
Also
Okay,
available, you can see there in the shirt with everything new, with the booster upgrades, Pad Zero, and those upgraded engines. This
Oh,
is
you're
so
mentioning
cool.
it is very cool. I really like that. I'm going to have to get one of those for my collection. We are coming up to that point now where we're looking to possibly see the payload deployment. We're expecting 20
Okay.
Starlink simulators to be released on this flight. We're coming up to around that 17-minute mark is when we're expecting
Hopefully,
to possibly
the
start.
ship
It might
has
be a little
altitude
bit
control
delayed, given
here.
that they've had to go a little bit longer with the burn. Are we expecting that to possibly shift things around a little bit, do you think, perhaps, Alex?
We'll see. It seems like they might be reorienting. We see there on the attitude. Like, yes, the ship is moving around, but it's not the tumbling that we saw on ship 35, for example, back on flight 9. So let's see what happens.
Look at that.
Terminator
Getting an
line.
update from Dan Hewitt from SpaceX.
While I do that, I
Holy.
do want to point out that I'm seeing in the back channel, we had questions earlier, will the Gateway to Mars sign survive? The Gateway to Mars sign now says Gatway. It is indeed missing some letters.
Should have put some money on it. I called it yesterday. I said it wasn't going to fully survive. Gateway to Mars. You never know.
I guess half the letters survived on that at least, so there's that. But most importantly is the ship currently surviving, as you see there on the screen.
I saw one of the thrusters. See there, the blue thing coming out from the side. That's actually the thruster, I think.
Oh, that.
Yeah, those two little holes on the left.
Oh, we've got a bit of freeze.
Yeah.
And it started again.
So, to explain a little bit further, the reason why they did not call nominal orbital insertion is because of that extended burn uphill. They did their own simulations and things like that. It's a good orbit, it's a good trajectory, not the nominal one, so that's why they did not call it. It's good enough. They're gonna be seeing, they're probably gonna skip the Raptor relight test that they were planning for this based on the engine performance numbers
Okay.
and the data that they have.
Hopefully,
So
we would
that
see
is
that
probably gonna happen
those
there.
dummy Starlinks get deployed
I'm not
very
sure
soon.
if we're gonna be eventually going into that payload deployment,
Hopefully,
but
it's
we'll
not
see if
a.
that happens as well.
Hopefully, this is not a repeat of IFT 7. I mean IFT 9.
We have
I want it to be a repeat of IFT, either IFT 10 or 11. Both lights are nearly similar.
We've got a very special guest joining us right now. Big welcome to you, Robin. Thank you so much for coming up and talking to us.
Scott
I'm
Manley.
particularly very excited to talk to you. Would you
Oh,
like to
that's-
first
that's the
introduce
guest.
yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh.
My name is Robin Ringette, and I am the president of Astroforge.
Look at that.
I have been in large liquid rocket engines and aerospace in general for more than 3 decades now. Originally at Rocketdyne,
Okay.
and then at SpaceX during the early years, and
Oh, there it is!
subsequently,
There's the
working on
entire
and,
stack of Starlink boilerplates.
I've got to ask you, somebody.
Okay, get ready for deployment. This the next major event that you'll look there. That's a Pez dispenser open. Okay, yeah, the ship.
Oh, it's so exciting.
The ship is okay here. The ship has
Pumping,
altitude
every
control.
time I see a
This
rocket
is
launch, and,
hopefully going to be a
Starship
repeat
is,
of IFT
obviously
10 or
the
11. Look at that.
of them all
We should be
for,
seeing the first deployment of
that
Starlink
purpose.
here.
We're still waiting at the moment to see if we see those payload
Yo, there's
deployments.
an
I'll
ad.
keep an eye on it, and I'll get Alex to make sure
There's
he
an
keeps
ad
an eye-
here.
keep us on,
Okay,
on that. For you at Astroforge, Robin, what
Look
does
at that.
this vehicle mean for you?
This is absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful
Well, obviously,
flight today.
Starship brings a whole new era for low-cost access to space. Its lift capacity is just
Look at that.
ginormous. It's unlike anything that's come before it. But beyond just heavy lift capability, its reusability also brings a level of affordability and continuing to drive down the cost of getting not only to low Earth orbit, but now, as
There's
we
the
were earlier
Starlings.
today, alluded to, getting to the moon and beyond to Mars. And so it's actually really an exciting time.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Astroforge are looking to perhaps utilize resources in space. What other industries do you think a vehicle like spaceship's going to open up to other commercial industries?
Oh, we are.
You know, when we
May
first
I
entered.
interject for a second here? It seems like we are about to see that payload deployment happen
Oh,
right
Oh,
there.
yes.
that's
Thank you
right.
for keeping us honest.
Probably
Look
very
at
Aaron.
smart
that
for you
start.
guys
Look.
at
Oh,
Forge.
look. Oh.
to go through this.
Okay. Looks like the first
We are
deployments of
expecting to see
the
about
boilerplate
20
starting should commence here. They're raising the entire
Starlings
stack of
simulators that are
starlings
going to
here.
possibly
Then they are
deploy
going
today,
to first of
just to
all
beam
push the
those
first stack of
Dodger
starlings here.
dogs, which we've been laughing about over the
There it
last
is. They're
couple of
going
days,
to
named
push
after
one
the
starting out
LA
first.
Dodger
Then
hot
after that,
dogs.
they're
They're a little
gonna
bit longer
pull in the second one. They're
This is a view from the flaps.
they're gonna pull in the second one. They're oh, look at that. That's different. Okay, that's a totally different profile than
How
before.
excited are you that you can see all of this happening as we see this massive rocket just deploying these satellites? You guys have anything in mind to deploy something from the piss dispenser?
Huh? Huh?
I mean, obviously, as part of this.
Oh, they're deploying boilerplate starlings right now.
Being able to get
I also
the
heard that they
IP
have
and
two starlings
tremendously high
with
quality. I mean, this is
cameras.
part of what low cost access
Oh,
to
oh,
space has
oh,
done for
oh.
us. It allows people to innovate. It allows companies to get smarter and get more shots on goals.
Okay,
Different
there's the
technologies
second
for different
deployment of
purposes.
Starlings.
Obviously,
Keep in
all
mind, this is the
comes
first
through
flight of a
Starlink,
Block 3
which,
starship.
SpaceX
And
put
this is
up,
absolutely
right?
amazing to see that they are that the ship has gone this far.
And in the
And also, I think they are
Starship is
not
gonna
pulling
be
that
launching
second
an entire constellation
batch of Starlings
Starlink
inside,
satellites in one
just
go.
to avoid them from hitting the
Just
top
mind-boggling
bay
to
door
think
of
about.
the vehicle. There it is. There's our third set, getting ready for deployment here.
Before we started to see this deployment, the kind of industries that we think this is going to open us up to, and I'll.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I get.
Oh, there's an ad. Okay, don't worry.
Toggle to send my AI.
Yeah, so obviously, my focus
There it is.
these days is on
There's the third
mining
deployment
resources in space
here.
for use here
There's
on
the
Earth.
third.
That's
Okay,
where
there's the third batch being deployed. Okay, there's that first Starlink being deployed. The second one will be released.
Specifically platinum group metals.
And
We've already been to deep space once.
oh, there's the last two. The last two are probably V2 Starlings. They definitely look like V2 Starlings. Look at that. Okay, they just dropped on V2 Starlings here, and they.
Although that's
Yeah.
what gets me excited,
Oh.
the reality is.
Okay, I can't wait to see cameras of the ship, external views of the ship. I'm just absolutely excited here. Oh, okay, that's just ice.
See coming down from space.
That's
the
just
ability
ice.
To have high bandwidth data transmitted from anywhere in the world, opening up access to the entire human knowledge.
There it
database
is.
Of human knowledge.
That's
to
the
everyone
fourth batch being
on planet
deployed.
Earth. It's just absolutely amazing.
This.
We're starting to get
Okay.
into, there's been a lot of talk about data centers in space and trying to reduce the impact of these.
Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. The fourth batch of Starlink boilerplate Starlings had got released into the void of space. They're in a suborbital trajectory. Of course, they're going to burn up in the atmosphere later.
And one of the things
There's the fifth batch ready for deployment.
Because there was a recent thing from.
I think
SpaceX,
I'm wondering whether or not this like maybe a mass simulator.
that might go right
Look at
along
that.
with what you guys are doing.
They literally just strapped on V2 Starlinks on
You guys now have a bit of a
onto
bigger
the Pez
competition
dispenser
now
there.
with SpaceX, right?
Yeah, so I was actually completely enthusiastic to see that in their recent SEC filing. They did mention that part of their business plan is to
Look at that.
use in-space resources.
That's the fifth batch of
Asteroids,
Starlinks being
it's-
deployed.
It's actually much easier to get to asteroids and bring material back to Earth from asteroids than it is to go to the moon and bring it back. Although the moon has 1/6 gravity, and that's great for a lot of different applications and research, and a great stepping stone for humanity. In terms of bringing material back to Earth, we actually know what's on the moon, and we have a lot of it here on Earth. There's not a
Look at that. That's the sixth batch already.
There isn't a lot on the moon that is worth bringing back to Earth. Now, using those resources in situ
This is
there
absolutely
to make our
beautiful.
moon bases
The current
and other
look at that.
applications in space and on the
That's
moon.
the sixth batch being
Absolutely,
deployed.
that makes a lot of sense. But I was very enthusiastic and excited to see that SpaceX sees the light of being able to go after resources beyond Earth. And as exciting as it is to see rocket launches, I think we all can appreciate that it's much easier to move material around in space than it is to pick it up and launch it off the ground. Even as tremendously large as Starship is, it'll be great to be able to build our large space structures and applications there in space.
Okay, we're getting closer to those V2 Starlinks being deployed. I'm absolutely excited to see that. I'm absolutely excited to see external views of ship. Although it's night, hopefully they have maybe night vision cameras or something.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
have
that.
deployed well over half of those, and now we are getting close to the last. I think there's 4 pairs left, and the final pair of satellites are those Dodger Dogs, the V2 mini satellites, sort of modified to fit in this pest dispenser profile sort of thing, and those are the ones that have the cameras on them, and they're going to be using those to be able to check on the heat shield and trying to develop eventually develop
This is
sort
absolutely
of
beautiful.
methods to be able to know
Congrats, Ship 13. Congrats to the entire SpaceX team. Like, this is an absolutely beautiful flight to now.
before returning it over Mexico and Southern California and all those areas before it goes to Starbase, you kind of want to make sure that that ship is ready to go through that reentry. You want to make sure that the heat shield is in good condition to do that. And so it's a really nice thing to develop those methods because they might be very useful in the future. Shuttle did that, and hopefully in the future, the Starship vehicles will be able to use those kinds of methods.
Wow.
Some of the signal is a bit.
Yeah, a bit of a
wonky.
signal issue, but it'll pick up very quickly, I'm sure.
Yeah, if only they were deploying real Starlinks and not the Starlink dummies that they could use, right?
Oh, there is apparently cameras on board of those 2 Dodger Dogs. So I'm hoping to see some images from those as well.
We're gonna deploy
if they are able
the.
to
Okay, it
do
looks like
that.
now they're going
But
to
we'll
deploy
talk
those
about
last 2
the
Starlinks, which have cameras on board of them. Keep in mind of that. Okay.
competitive way
It looks very wonky to see those V2
minis.
minis.
You guys are going to be looking to do. How close are we to seeing us using space resources right now?
Okay.
Well, I can tell you that Astroforge is planning to bring material back to Earth. Our first
Wait, hold
pieces
up.
of near-Earth asteroid,
I think those
before the
V2
end of this
minis are.
decade.
Yeah, they're. I think they're
Takes about us.
Oh,
takes
never
us
mind. They
about
have
9
their
months to
own.
get
Okay,
out
I
to
thought
the
they were
rocket,
attached to
and then we
sonic
spend about 3
boiler
months
plates there.
mining it, and then about
For a
year to
sec.
get back. So once we launch, it's about a 2-year cycle before we get material back.
Okay.
And we plan
There it
to
is.
return material as soon as our Deep Space 3 mission, which is the one after.
Wait.
This one coming up.
Okay, never mind. I thought those V2 minis were attached to boilerplate Starlinks.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an ad.
Well, I love that space.
There's another ad playing on my TV
Some
here.
of the humor
There it is.
and tongue-in-cheek
Come on.
cheekiness of the company.
Okay, we're in the very
I
last
remember when
Starlinks
we
being
launched
deployed.
a,
This is absolutely
entire
exciting. Let's
log
see
of cheese,
what the ship looks like
dragon
externally.
flight.
The Monty Python reference was spectacular for that.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. There's the last few That's the last 2 Starlinks. Let's see what the ship looks like externally. This is absolutely exciting. Okay.
I do love that.
Come on. There it is. Okay, now they're raising that little structure which pushes down each Starlink. Congrats, Ship 39 again, along with the entire SpaceX team. Look at
I
that.
think it was.
There it is. Get ready for those comms.
Or Carlsberg? Yeah, I don't remember. Last,
Okay.
when it
Come
came
on.
back, it got
Hopefully,
sealed away in
SpaceX
crates,
shares footage.
Pretty stinky.
Here we go.
And hopefully, they share live footage right now of those cameras.
And
Doesn't
now
seem like
let's
we're
see
getting
that
live
second
views
one.
though.
Come on.
Yeah, they said that they might be a bit delayed with the turnaround in those videos. They don't expect live views yet. Haha. Hang on.
Oh,
And
there's lights. Okay.
Look at that.
Okay, they have lights on.
Travels halfway around
Yes!
the world from where it took off.
That means we could literally see Ship 39 with all of its glory with those cameras. This is absolutely beautiful.
Perfectly said.
I want to see those live cameras right now. Holy. Look at that.
That's where we're hearing all the cheers coming from. We're currently 29 minutes on
Wow.
into this flight.
Is that the door closing yet, or when does that close out?
Oh, it's closing now.
Looks like it is.
Yeah, it's closing. They were just talking about that. The Payload bay door is closed.
Wow.
Yeah, you were able to see that light kind of dissipating as it went into place.
Spectacular.
Okay, what a beautiful flight so
We're quite
far.
excited there, as we keep saying.
Okay,
As they
what's
should
left
be. I
now
mean,
is
this is a
re-entry.
huge achievement. I know you've been part of these sort of things, Robin, and it's such passion that you put
Okay.
into these projects. What does it feel like when you see an outcome like this? It might not necessarily go perfectly to plan, but this is looking pretty good for them at the moment, right, at SpaceX?
Yeah, a plan lasts about as until you get punched in the mouth, right? That's how long a plan lasts. You know, yes, these are test flights.
Okay, the last
Yes,
event here we should be
SpaceX has many,
expecting
test flights
is...
of the Starship.
Oh, there's a pad.
If you look at any new launch vehicle
Oh,
of any size and
I think the
capacity,
lights from that Starlink is
there's
still on.
actually
We see
usually
the
about
ship being
3
illuminated. Oh, there's an ad.
Prototype. The hardest thing.
Oh.
Industrial infrastructure to build from the ground up in kind of an amazing amount
Okay,
of
the
time.
next event, the next major event is re-entry. Oh.
Behold in of itself beyond just
Oh, look at that.
The fact that SpaceX
Wow.
has been able to do that as a private organization this entire time, certainly with
I'm really excited for those live
government
views. The
and other
ship is
private
performing
companies
roles.
to help fund the launches and
Wow.
money coming in from Starlink, but the tremendous progress that has been made.
Wow.
And we start talking about, I mean, this is a reusable second stage. So not only the largest liquid rocket engine ever developed by humankind, but a reusable first stage and a reusable second stage with new thermal protection.
Look at that.
Modern,
It's absolutely beautiful.
Advances in compute
Wow.
power and precision navigation and control.
And just like that,
This is our science future.
using lights is much better than than
a
night vision, you know.
Heinlein book or an Arthur C. Clarke.
I just can't wait to see the ship in all of its glory.
This is what they had dreamed of, and what most of us have dreamed of for
Damn.
a long time.
Oh,
really
there's an
taking
interview. I didn't
humanity
notice
to the
that.
stars.
You can see they're rotating the ship in the graphic at the bottom right, and this light is actually from the satellites. They're shining these really bright lights on the Starship, because obviously right now they're in nighttime, orbital nighttime. There shouldn't be any sun out there. This is just like the satellites themselves, right?
So was that dot that we saw by the flag
Ah.
at the moon, or was that one of the lights from the satellites?
I think it was one of the satellites. Yeah, one of the lights from that, and it's rotating the ship, and so they're able to image the whole of the heat shield at the bottom. Wow, that's bonkers. I wonder how powerful this light is.
I mean, that was part of one of their purposes, wasn't it? To be able to send up these two extra, these Dodger dogs, as they called them,
Yeah.
To make sure that they could get the images they want of the heat shield, which is exciting to see that this is going to plan for them.
Okay.
Well, it's super important engineering data. If you think back to Columbia, it had damage to the leading edge wing, and we didn't even really know it, or at least we didn't know the extent of it before those astronauts re-entered the Earth. So your heat shield is literally millimeters or very small number of inches between thousands of degrees of hot gas plasma directly blow torching against the spaceship and what amounts to aluminum underneath. So you really have to understand what the condition of those heat shields are. And if Starship returns and has a problem, you want to know what the condition of those thermal tiles were before you tried to re-enter. So
Okay, I think the ship is now facing its heat shield towards those Starlings.
To push that team forward.
Robin, to bring it back and sort of tie it in with what you guys are doing at Astroforge, because they're using these satellites to sort of...
Okay, the ship is rotating itself.
And everything. I sort of can
We're at the dark side of it. Well, okay, now we're going to be seeing light reflect. Okay, there it is.
Are you guys going to have any sort of ways of, before you start mining it, being able to have sort of like an inspector sort of thing, just like they're using these satellites to inspect the heat shield?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually develop our own imagers specifically to be able to acquire near-Earth objects. We're going after really small objects that are really dim And so
Look
it
at that.
requires very sensitive optics and special
Wow.
algorithms that we develop. All of that
Those are the
in-house to be
that's
able
the
to find
lights
the
from those
asteroid.
Starlinks. Keep in mind.
Yeah. And then as you approach, well, we're gonna use the sun side. We're gonna use the big.
I can already
flashlight,
imagine how
which
beautiful
is
those
our
views would be.
K-star. But those imagers help us not only find the asteroid, but then autonomously navigate towards the asteroid, eventually rendezvousing with it. And then we have a set of other cameras on board that help us, that are set far apart from each other, that allow us to get some binocular visions and depth perception, so that we can see how far away the asteroid is.
Sort of like our eyes.
Look at that.
Exactly. If you've seen a lot of images of the moon or other asteroids, it's actually very difficult to know how large the sizes of the features that you're seeing are, because there's no point of reference. So a lot of the engineering camera images that you'll see will actually have crosshairs and things overlaid, and that's so that the engineers can actually figure out how big is that? Is that a pebble? Is that a boulder? What am I looking at? So having those kinds of engineering pieces of data is critical.
Absolutely. We're coming up to just over 35 minutes into this flight now. And talking about what am I looking at? What are we looking at, Sawyer? We're seeing it looking like it's rotating.
I think that's
around.
city lights. Or either like the previous Starlinks.
It feels a lot like during the
Either
space
one of
shuttle
these two.
program, they would do something called the rendezvous pitch maneuver after Columbia that you were talking about there, where they would flip the shuttle basically a full 360 so that people on the ISS could take photos of the heat shield to see how it did. This feels very reminiscent of that, except instead of the ISS
Wow.
taking the pictures, it's those two Dodger Dog elongated Starlinks, which again, we talked about the other ones being those Starlink simulators.
Look
These
at
are
that.
actual Starlink V2 minis that have been extended out for this sole purpose here. So it's very cool
Okay.
to see it, and then rotating
We're now
around, taking those
passing
images,
over the.
and then hopefully shortly
We're now
we'll see that
passing
get into
Africa here.
re-entry orientation too.
I've got to ask Robin, what does this compare to being
Oh.
like when the early stages of SpaceX when you were working on the Falcon 1?
You know, it's actually hard to capture in words what it felt like working at SpaceX in the early days. There's a lot of stories. There's literally been books written, and there's an amazing part of being a startup that gets kind of lost, which is you never know if the doors were going to be locked on any given Monday. Success was not a guarantee, and staying in business was not a guarantee. And so when we first launched Falcon 1, we also did not expect complete success. And in fact, it only stayed in the air about 29 seconds. But that willingness to push the button and see how it goes, and to drive the cost down and
Look
get
at
us
that.
into production, that spirit, I can tell you, is still alive at Starbase today. When I visited there, they are making a production machine, and that is how they are able to produce all of these Raptor engines in Hawthorne, and all of the SpaceX and Starship and booster pieces at scale. Absolutely amazing.
I think this is the video that they promised will be
Oh!
delayed.
This is Oh!
From the Dodger Dog. Yeah,
That's-
look at that.
Yes!
There's
Yes,
all the
that's.
docking ports for when they do refueling.
Holy!
Wow.
Look at that.
Doesn't feel real, does it? It feels like
That
a
ship
graphic.
39 in all of its glory. Look at that.
This was mere moments ago.
Yeah, this is not live. This is still with a few minutes delay. There we go.
Wow.
That's
It's
so
really bright
cool.
light.
Wow.
Oh my
And there's
god.
light on it.
Look at that. That's ship 30. That's ship 39. That's ship 39.
Doesn't it? It was definitely the light from that satellite that we were seeing as it was rotating around.
You can still see some of the frost on the bottom near the engine section.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the ship is now orienting itself for re-entry.
Wow. Yeah, they said that they did not expect to have a live view.
Oh,
that,
that's-
they basically were trying to turn it around, that video, as quickly as possible. They were gonna be downlinking it and trying to turn it around as quickly as possible. And hey, it's been like 10 minutes since that deployment. I think that's a good turnaround. Definitely way better than certain other turnarounds that we do here.
Wow.
But yeah.
Just
it
look at
seems
that.
like,
Oh my god.
the time
I've
that
been
we
waiting
had,
for this, man.
seen that Raptor relight if it had actually been approved for this part of the plan, because as we were talking about
Holy.
before, they had that engine out during ascent. They had a bit of a less nominal.
We all want more.
Oh.
More progress.
Oh, excuse me. Maybe closer to.
Oh, look at that.
8 minutes or so, I guess. Doing a bit of
Okay.
math here. We should be getting close to that entry interface portion of this flight. And
Hopefully the ship is
we're
oriented.
about to see all of those spots.
Absolutely. Robin, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that great insight into what it was like at SpaceX and what you're doing now
Okay.
at Astroforge. We're very
Hopefully
excited
that
to
little
see you
like
guys
line
launch
there
and
is the
hopefully
retrograde
very
indicator,
very
because
soon. We're gonna
we
get back to
definitely
the
want the
meeting
ship
now
to be
see our
orientated like that.
30 minutes into the flight.
Otherwise, that would be off nominal. Okay, yeah, that is definitely the retrograde indicator, because you see that little like glass, like the gas plumes
Thank
there.
you. I appreciate the time.
I believe it's already interacting with parts of the atmosphere here. Although we haven't
The flaps are now
received plasma yet.
being tucked in for that reentry. You can kind of see
Look at
those
that.
two satellites still out there, those two bright lights, and I think either those other lights are cities or they might be the other satellites. I sort of side of the
Look at that.
on
That
lights
city light.
from
Ship is
cities.
performing.
And those
Look at
pulses,
that.
kind of color change it looks like it's going through.
Holy.
That's still those RCS thrusters that we were seeing, right?
It's crazy to see that in the
RCS
first Block 3
reactor
Starship
control
flight,
system.
this is
That's
how far the
from
ship has
space
gone, and
delivery
it's
and
still
to
going.
the main Raptors that we're used to seeing for the actual launch.
And also keep in mind the ship probably has a near, not really near similar plumbing to V2. Maybe it still has those same downcomers for those artifacts, but there's a lot.
And a reminder, the
This
timing
Block
of
3
change of
Starship
when
is very
things happen,
different
but this
from
part,
Block 2. There's a lot of
we're
changed.
into that slightly different,
There's a lot of
trajectory
changed things
than
here.
originally planned, although a
Look
safe
at that.
one, and also
This
that the
glow.
burn went, what was it, about a minute and a half to 2 minutes
Wow.
longer than originally planned to make up for that engine that went out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is completely planned. Again, they run simulations. What happens if an engine goes out at this point? And you know, Sawyer, because you're
Okay.
a shuttle expert, I guess. That was exactly what the shuttle also was.
We see some glow at the
you know, in
heat
different
shield
times
side
during
of the
ascent,
vehicle.
If the shuttle lost an engine, it could still go on with two engines. And in fact, one of them, the missions early on, if I'm not mistaken, STS-51F, they had an engine out about 5 minutes into ascent.
Yep, yeah, it was, you're right, STS-51F, where they did it's called an abort to orbit. So basically the engines were starting to go out. Turns out it was sensor issues, but regardless, to be safer, they went into a slightly lower than originally planned orbit rather than going all the way up
sorry,
to their intended one. But yeah, the shuttle had multiple engine out capabilities.
Yeah.
Pretty much all rockets have some form of engine out capability on the way hill that they could still make it up to space, maybe just burn a little bit extra. And case in point, that's
Okay.
exactly what SpaceX did.
Even Saturn V.
Once we go below maybe 100 kilometers, we should start. No. I think we should start seeing plasma by now. Maybe no, below like 100 kilometers or something. Now we're like 110.
Think RTM high or something like that. It's about the RS-25 engines. Like if one engine were to shut
Look
down,
at that.
at least make it into orbit even that early on, because SLS has 4 of those engines and it's meant to go to.
Okay, the ship is now entering Earth's atmosphere.
So just to go
This
into
is
orbit,
one
it
of
takes a
the
lot
last
of
events,
energy, and so
major
SLS
events. The last event should be landing burn. The ship has our like Raptor 3 engines, and what we saw with the booster there didn't look good, although it could be because of hot stage, maybe due to maybe fuel slosh or something like that, because that hot stage there looks very energetic. Maybe it's because one of those like Raptor 3 engine. Yeah, maybe because one of those like RVAC engines didn't light maybe during hot stage. In result, maybe it led to a more violent hot stage. And due to that, maybe that violent hot stage led to a very off nominal amount of fuel sloshing. Due to that offline RVAC. In result, it could have led to the demise of the booster due to that RVAC loss. Yeah. Look at that.
We'll see now that reentry thanks to this as well. now let's hope that the ship holds up through that re-entry, and then, of course, after about 15 minutes of re-entry, we'll have
Wow.
the ship relighting the engines. They did
That's
say
just
that
beautiful.
despite having canceling that relight test in space, they still will continue and will try to do that landing burn of the ship. So that should still be good to go. We're starting to see some of those lights already appearing as
Look at that.
Starship gets closer and closer to the outer
Damn.
atmosphere.
This
By the way,
is
reminder,
absolutely
how many-
beautiful. I
I just
do
wanna
like
ask
the
really quick,
quality
how
here.
many
It's
engines do they
very
use for
gorgeous
that,
at all.
flip
Like,
and burn maneuver, and what
and
was
it's
the
also
issue? They
purple.
had one of them that went out on the way uphill.
Although I don't think this is the plasma.
No, so one of them.
Okay, yeah,
the one that
that's
went out
probably the
uphill was
plasma.
one of the RVAC engines. They
Okay,
use the sea-level engines, the three in the middle, basically, and so those are the ones that gimbal, that move around and steer the rocket. That is also why they were able to compensate for
Look
the
at
first
that.
time around
The ship is now
with the
entering
RVAC
Earth's
out.
this is here, as I
Three
said.
engines that
Yeah,
can
that
really
is plasma, I
get
believe.
sort of
It's purple.
their way out
Look at
to
that.
compensate that thrust imbalance, and so they are able to compensate for that. And so those, it is true that the relight test in space was supposed to be with
Oh, there's
one
an
of the
ad on my
most
TV.
serious
Sorry about
engines,
that.
and so
Uh,
to minimize any sort of potential things going on, they basically disabled the ship from trying that relight test. But hey, they still got that landing burn attempt that might happen later into the flight once they go through re-entry, and so that is basically what we're trying to see happen here.
If landing burn doesn't work and if the landing burn fails, hopefully SpaceX at least shows footage of the ship impacting the ocean. That would be absolutely beautiful, you know?
Yeah, the booster ignited all 33 engines.
And look
it
at
took
that, the
off,
ship.
went
I'm very
uphill,
proud of Ship
took
39 right
course.
now.
It lost one of the 20 outer engines, those that do not gimbal, the ones that do not move around. It's something that it can compensate for. We've seen even up to 2 or 3 engines going out before and still be good. It
Okay.
had a bit of a rough sort of
Looks
go,
like,
I guess, during that flip
I'm keeping
and
my eyes on that
subsequent
speed
startup.
indicator
After
there.
hot staging, the ship ignited its engines. It separated from the booster. The booster did a really quick flip around and tried to sort of come back and start its boost back burn. Reminder that the boost back burn this time
Okay,
around was supposed to
sorry.
be with all 33 engines.
How do I?
It
Okay.
ignited a number of them, but not all 33. It started losing engines as it flipped and started the burn. And so it then had to shut down and abort its boost back burn because the engines were sort of going out, and there was a fail safe basically there in its software saying nope, let's not continue this burn. It then did a sort of controlled
Look at that.
re-entry. They
The
got
plasma's
test as well,
purple.
at the very least. That re-entry quite more spicy
Holy.
because they were going a little bit more faster than they probably expected, and so that was one of the other things as well that they at least got out of the booster at the very least, where it's like, well, at least they got the all of the grid fin data and everything.
Absolutely. And we are coming up to that re-entry point. I wanted to check in with Ryan. What's your heart rate like at the moment, Ryan? So high that we can't hear from him right now, it sounds like. We're all very, very excited to see these beautiful images. I have to say, when you see the plasma off the side of it like that, it is stunning. I mean, this one looks like it's a little bit frozen at the moment.
Holy,
No,
look at
no,
that.
You can see particles moving by.
Okay,
I still
this
love
is
the
definitely
concept.
worthy
Until
for
Starship,
like
this was never a thing.
background phone or
To
something.
view
Yeah.
The entry on the heat shield and the plasma and everything live. You would get some in return from inside crew capsules. There was the silts pod on top of Columbia, but that never really saw the light of day that much. And even so, the quality is nowhere near like HD that we have today. So.
I just came across this insane stat. 60%
Oh my.
of office workers suffer from
There's another ad here.
strain injury. That's
Okay, let's skip that.
The last couple.
Ryan, you're back with us. Look at those gorgeous 80s style plasma streams we're seeing across the screen. What do you think?
Back for real now this time. Yeah, that's great to see. Of course, great to hear from Astroforge as well. But here we go, 48 minutes into flight. I mean, we're getting through it. Maybe we're going through re-entry a little bit sooner than we expected.
Oh, it's
Blast
blue
Ones might have
purplish.
that
Okay.
Huge hazard area in the Indian Ocean because they can hit things if they, or they're not going to hit things even if they have a slightly off-nominal trajectory. So that's great to see.
Wow, all of those colors are so cool.
It's beautiful
It's
to
just
see, isn't it?
bonkers. But you can see already the speed coming down as it hits the atmosphere and it slows down.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We're
And you can
watching
see
those
that.
numbers on the bottom left as well, as you can see as it's slowing down.
Yeah, you can see that orientation as well. Again, I know I keep bringing up shuttle, but very similar with that nose up. Shuttle did about a 40-degree nose up as it was entering the Earth, so basically it would belly flop in. And Starship doing something very similar there with its thermal system. And again, the one thing that we saw consistently with V1 and V2 was it seemed like things would start to burn through those flaps, but those appear to be holding up pretty well right now with this redesign.
Look at that.
Absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, this is one of my favourite parts when you see the plasma coming in. We obviously didn't get to see that during the shuttle era. We weren't able to capture these live images as we are now. A couple of people have asked, where on the ship are the cameras positioned? Alex, do you know exactly where they are?
Look
Well,
at
this one in particular is on the flap.
look at that beautiful
so as
blue
the flap
plasma.
moves, the camera view will also
I mean
move.
purple.
All the fixed
Yeah,
cameras
blue.
on the hull of the vehicle itself.
It's just the
already
camera is just looking at blue right now.
It's sort of in the raceway area, for example.
I think it could just be an
it's
artifact
looking
of
at that
light.
Aft flap. This is the right-hand side aft flap on the ship, and it's sort of in the engine area. There's like two.
Look at that. That's
cameras,
the.
one looking to the right-hand side,
That's
one
the
looking at the left-hand
aft
side.
flap.
They
Look at
did
that.
explain that these tiles that you
It has
see
a
in
lot
the
of tiles still intact. There's some There's some fallen. I believe there was supposed to. Okay.
Ways of attaching these tiles
Ooh.
to the vehicle.
Hopefully
which
that's
is
just
what we already
venting
have
at the
in mind
aft.
and already sort of expected based on
That,
how
like, little fire at the
differently
back.
these tiles looked to be attached to the flap compared to what we see on some other portions of the ship. And so that is great news. They're trying to find other ways. The important thing is that it is for ascent. The key thing that they want to look for.
We are
is
definitely
that they
decelerating
provide
right now.
ascent rather than the re-entry.
Look at that.
Why? Because before re-entry, you got the launch, and that ascent through the atmosphere, you are subjected to a lot of aerodynamic pressure and drag and everything, blowing on your tiles and doing all sorts of things. It can basically make your tiles go away. And so that's exactly what they were trying to test with these tiles on the leeward side of the ship.
Ryan, we were expecting about a 1 hour and 5 minute flight today, and things are looking a little bit off, but it's not a bad sign overall. It's looking like it's been pretty positive so far, right?
Yeah, I mean, they of course had that. Go on, Alex.
I just noticed the altitude actually went up, and it's going up now. It's using its lift to raise itself a little.
Wow.
Look at that. It was
Like a skip?
Yeah, like a little bit of a skip, yeah. We saw on previous versions that it held altitude. Now it's actually increasing that altitude, which is really interesting.
Wow.
That's good. This means that it's going on track.
Hopefully that's not burned through. That's more of like
Of course,
venting
we
from
had
the
that,
aft.
Raptor knocking itself out on ascent. That Raptor vacuum, so they had to burn for a little bit longer. So of course the trajectory will be, you know, even if it's tiny differences, it is going to be different, but it might just be a slight difference because they had to burn longer, because they had less thrust, etc., etc. But I mean, these are the sorts of views we would expect on a nominal flight 52 minutes after launch, right? We're starting to plunge back into the atmosphere here, or even rise out of it a little bit.
This is more of a
We're descending
bluish.
again now through
It did a little bit of
69.3 kilometers.
Yeah, it did a little bit of a dip out into a bit of a higher altitude. That is cool, man.
Great way to burn off some extra speed, yeah. And
Wow.
again,
Yeah.
like Artemis did a much more extreme version of that, but it's a nice little way to kind of ease up on the heat shield a bit and bleed off some extra speed, so that way you hit the atmosphere not as fast, but still pretty fast.
It's looking controlled, isn't it, Sawyer?
Wow,
Very
look at
much
that.
So this is what we want to see: is it maintaining that orientation? Of course, they do have
Right.
the RCS thrusters that they can use to kind of help with that. The flaps can move, but
Okay,
at this point, it basically should just be going straight down, belly flopping in.
You can
Unless it's
notice a
doing, like,
little bit of a tilt on the ship, right? On the indicator on the bottom,
Really?
right? It's sort of like
Oh my
tilting a little
god, look
bit
at
there.
the
So it's like an
That's
S-curve.
cool. Yeah, like the shuttle. Again, Sawyer, really good that you're here, because shuttle guy.
Yeah, but the
Shuttle
space
used to
shuttle
do
would
the
do
same.
upon entry is as it got into usually thicker parts of the atmosphere, it would start turning left and right and left and right to bleed off that extra speed. It seems like Starship is about to do the same thing.
Oh. There's no burn through the aft flaps. That's good to see.
Saying, why is it yellow? Why is it blue? Why is it pink? You know, obviously we're seeing that plasma burn off as it's re-entering into the atmosphere. Alex, can you explain why we're seeing
there's a ad on my TV. Sorry about that.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm happy is that we're not seeing a lot of sparks as we used to. So that's a good test of the heat shield. Of course, there's still many more minutes to go. There's still 10 more minutes until the ship is going for the landing burn. So, but wow, I think you can sort of see its wake right there on the right hand side. You know what I mean? That's so cool. But yeah, right now they're going through the period of peak heating.
Wow.
Ironically, the period of peak
Look
heating
at that contrast of
is not the
colors
thing that
there.
you should be worried about. It's actually a little bit later when the heating has already soaked into the tiles and the temperatures are rising up. That is when it's actually should be something that should concern you. But you can see there the leading edge of the aft flap turning orange.
Oh.
Yeah, I think even on the catch pin.
Oh,
on the left,
there's some
on the top
sparks?
left, you know what I mean? Sort of turning a little bit of an orange hue.
Don't worry, they're doing a lot of heat shield tests here, so it's probably one of those new heat shield tiles or something. And that little fire at the aft is probably from those from that three-way vent thing there. They're obviously venting fuel.
Indeed, so we have this southeasterly trajectory. If you're just joining us before the coast,
okay, we're starting to see a bit more sparks.
This is a completely different trajectory. Don't panic.
Look at that catch pins; they're glowing more.
Different. So we're going to be splashing down in a similar location off the coast of Western Australia in the Indian Ocean, and we are also fingers crossed. Should everything
I'm keeping my eye on that catch pin there. It's glowing even more, a tad bit more.
Continues to go to plan, like we're seeing right now. We should be seeing Starship doing those banking maneuvers that we saw on Flight 11, the final flight of the previous version. I'm seeing some more glowing now from the re-entry, which is getting a little bit more spicy. But fingers crossed when we get through this re-entry and we get through to the kind of final parts of that procedure as it gets lower and lower in the atmosphere, it'll have a bit more control authority with its flaps and it'll be able to do that kind of swooping banking maneuver.
Come on, Ship 39.
Back to Starbase for a catch. Of course it isn't. It's going to the Indian Ocean for, fingers crossed, a successful splashdown.
Look at the catch pin there on the left. That's so cool. By the way, just to add to one of my notes earlier, I said, oh, look, that's the wake. It is technically the wake of its own engine chill vapors. So they're doing engine chill for landing burn later on. It takes a while for them to chill down the Raptor engines, and so they're doing it now, and that's what you see there on the right-hand side. So it's its own plume behind the ship.
We mentioned those sparks before and how we didn't want to see them. I've seen a few go across the screen so far, Sawyer. What does that mean for the engine and for the vehicle even?
It doesn't necessarily mean much. Again, these heat shields.
I just find out that AC can easily get mold, especially in hot and humid summers.
Underneath, and technically, even if it does, stainless steel can be concentrated in a single spot for a long period of time. That's what we typically saw with the burn through of those flaps down there. So seeing sparks like this is not a concern at this point.
Oh, we're seeing it tilt again. Did you see that maneuver on screen?
I'm seeing S turns.
Slightly, or maybe it was the camera.
It's turning the other way now. You can see the G-forces on the bottom right, by the way. It's now 0.9 Gs. They are right now about to leave the peak heating region. But as I said, one thing it's the heating.
Okay, we're seeing daylight.
Temperature.
Terminator. Look at we're seeing light from the sun, I believe.
As it continues that re-entry, as you can see, it's split
Look
off
at that.
already about 10,000 kilometers per hour.
We're passing
and going at about.
We're passing the Terminator line, I believe. Look at that line.
Altitude. There's still a lot of speed to bleed off.
Wow.
G-forces will increase. On previous flights,
look at that! Look at that orange plasma at the left hand of the screen. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah. Still going through that re-entry.
Look at that.
We're going to keep watching.
That's light from the sun.
It comes up on time. We're expecting it to possibly splash down in about the next 6.5 minutes. But I just wanted to say, if you were watching that gorgeous launch and thought, I would really like a print of it, go ahead to shop.nasaspaceflight.com. I believe we've got at least 2 of Max's images already up there on the shop available for you to purchase, and we'll bring those to you on the screen when we can.
There's still no
Yeah,
burn
we're
through
a
the
little bit
flap. That is
obsessed with these
amazing.
beautiful colors that we're seeing on this re-entry.
We're starting to go into daylight. Now you can see some
Look at the horizon and the
down
top
there on
part
Earth.
of the screen. You see that little blue line there? The very bright blue line. That's
above the flap. Of course, this is a fisheye lens, but it does distort it a little bit. But you can see the curvature there.
Wow.
And it's worth noting the flaps look really good.
Oh,
at
let
this
me-
point. Everything's still holding. No crazy sparks from any joints or anything. This is what we were wanting to see here.
wow.
Temperatures are
Look at
coming down.
that.
Peak heating region
Okay,
is
we are now
behind us.
decelerating even more as we dip further into the Earth's
Ship's
atmosphere.
still holding steady. It's getting a bit more
Okay.
sparky, right?
Okay, I'm just.
As I said before.
Look at that.
It's when now you should be expecting the sparky.
Okay,
bursts
there's
rather than
less
the-
plasma this time. The plasma is
Sparky,
dissipating.
Spicy. We're using all the the names for today.
Okay.
Overall, though, this is looking very
Looks-
positive.
Yeah.
Look at that catch pin there.
Much better than the
That catch
first,
pin looks much more
version
intact
1
than an
ship
IFT
we
7 and 8.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Port ship 29, 10 ships ago.
Let's keep our eye on like anything glowing abnormally,
And
like
also,
bright.
Remember, this is the first flight of a completely redesigned vehicle. The only things carried over from the previous flight is the name, the number of engines on each stage, and the stainless steel. Everything else is brand new. So to see them get this far, over an hour into flight so far, with a brand new vehicle is really impressive. I think the test tanks have definitely paid off.
Yeah, it feels a bit
Okay.
an illusion, isn't it? Because you look at the ship and you think it looks the same as it always has.
The
but
ship
we're
is
definitely
now.
looking at a new version.
Ooh.
There we go. So we are at the peak.
Oh, look at that! Oh, look at orange plasma
We're
there.
about to attempt
Whoa! Look at that
pressure
glowing!
flaps
Look at the
down.
glowing tiles there.
Look at the
There we go,
G-forces.
Lars Blackmore there.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Look
heat
at
shield.
that.
You can see almost a pink in between them.
Just started.
There's a test. Look at
Uh,
those flaps.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Flap
Yeah.
slap. I like the
Stress
name.
testing.
Okay, let's see if those R3 sea level engines ignite.
SpaceX.
Get ready for landing burn.
Almost expect
There it
these
is.
KSP temperature gauges to
Look
start
at that!
going
Look at
off.
that little like
Do those wiggles.
text at the like line bar thing there.
Should be now.
The ship is now performing a very hard sideways S turn.
Speed, as you can
I
see.
believe that's a similar thing they did on IFT 8, where the ship.
Again, we
This
are
thing is
expect-
basically a skydiver right
The
now.
test
I
is
mean, just
complete.
think about that. This is 50 meters tall, 9 meters wide. It's belly flopping back to Earth. That's just bonkers to think about in of itself.
Okay,
a little bit more elegant
look at that.
than a belly flop.
The ship should perform now. I think the ship would be performing a very hard back turn now.
This size. We keep saying it today, but this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it can belly flop as long as it does the flip and burn to right itself afterwards.
That
Alright.
heat shield there looks
Should be close
very
now to when
fine.
it'll try
I mean, like
to
in
enter
a
the
way
flap
where
and do the
it like
weird turn.
it looks
Instead of
much more
using
intact than
the
IFT 7 and 8, I
patch
believe.
to patch.
And look at that,
And
like the
that's
black
gonna be-
thermal blanketing at the side of the ship.
Yeah, there we go. It's about to start that maneuver.
That,
ELS banking maneuver.
oh, there it is. That's
There we go, that's
banking.
cool, eh?
British accent for it.
And that
Look
right
at the
there, so
at
we're
the
starting
attitude
up.
indicator.
That was the voice of Lars Blackmore, the chief of landing at SpaceX.
So not only
Basically
Alice
pioneered
and
Falcon
Ryan
9 landings.
accents will be exposed here because he's also British. Well, no longer British.
Look at that.
American now.
Is it
Yeah.
banking
By the way,
yet?
this is called the
Yeah, it is
RTL
definitely
thing,
banking
and that was built in the
hard.
beginning. They returned to launch
Let's
site, so
see if it
when it
performs
does
a
go for that
pitch
patch, that's what
up
they call
maneuver
it.
like what
It's
it did in
return to
IFT 8. Oh, yeah, it is now. It's pitching its
Beautiful.
leeward flaps upwards by a lot. There it is.
Where are we looking at right
There it is.
now
There's
in
that
Earth?
bank
Mind you,
maneuver.
mind
I mean,
you,
that's the pitch
we're
maneuver.
looking to see the
There it
ship
is.
down
The ship
below
is now
us.
turning hard.
Is that
Well, we're seeing
the
that.
Himalayas on the background, on the horizon? I see like what can be like mountains or something, mountain tops.
I've got to laugh.
I'm
You should
not-
have seen all of us adjusting
It
our
should be to
heads
the
when-
north. Oh my goodness.
I'm not 100%
Whatever.
sure on that one, but we are definitely over the Indian Ocean
Look at
right
that.
now.
Yeah.
The vehicle
as
is probably
Starship,
transonic right
which
now.
is
It should
coming
be
from the
subsonic
direction of
soon.
Africa towards Australia, and we are
Look at
expecting
that
splashdown off the
blanketing
coast of
there. It's
Western Australia,
kinda cracked,
in a few
but
minutes'
it's
time. Of
blanketing.
course,
I don't know.
some
Yeah,
tunnels
it
can be
looks
slightly
very
off
well though.
because
I
of
mean,
that,
like,
being
I don't know
massive,
actually.
failure of one of the Raptor
Yeah, but
vacuums.
we
But it
do
should be
see
in a
some
few minutes.
oxidation there. Look at that. Look at the little like line separating the blanketing from. Oh,
Subsonic and is on target.
yes.
What we want to
There
hear.
it is. You see that
Look at
oxidation
the
there?
altitude indicator because it's now
Now,
facing south.
look at that. The ship is now in a belly flop maneuver.
As you can see in that bottom left
Um,
corner.
it should be
And I
performing a
imagine
flip
as if
maneuver very soon.
The ship is sort of right above the launch site and just basically facing south. That is also the same direction that the
Wow. Look at that.
tower is facing.
Look at that
And
sunrise.
so they are about to catch that ship. That's sort of the thing that you gotta keep in mind. They're simulating that catch, which hopefully should happen in a few flights from now.
Get ready for landing burn. Hopefully those Raptor 3 sea level engines ignite.
Of course, we just left sunset. We're now approaching sunrise as we've flown, you know, pretty much halfway around the world, if not more.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that.
Wow, look at that. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Really amazing.
I mean, like, we are near landing burn. Oh, look at that. That's not from the reaction control thrusters. I think that's a little like okay now. Ooh.
Hey, Thais.
Okay, we're getting closer to that landing burn. Landing burn should occur about like maybe below like 1 kilometer above sea level.
Look at that turn.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
And again, slightly different timings, but that is to be expected.
Look at that.
The vehicle makes its own decisions from the point of launch.
Okay, landing burn should occur about like below 1 kilometer above sea level. Let's hopefully those sea level engines ignite.
2.5
Really is
kilometers.
going in for that belly flop as you were describing it earlier.
Come on.
You can see in that orientation in that bottom right hand corner.
Whoa.
1.5 kilometers.
What is that coming up the tiles there?
Okay. Okay. That landing burn. Okay, the 2 out of the, oh my god, that's drone cams. Drone cams. We might be getting an SN8 maybe. Oh, never mind. We're not going to be getting an SN8 hopefully. Yes! Yes, that is! That's the ship land. Oh, that's an ad. That's ship landing. Oh my god! Ship is splashed down. Congrats, ship 39. There it is. It's still tipping over. Okay. There it is. That's an explosion. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. Holy shit.
A hugely successful mission. Ship 39 back on Earth.
Yes.
Right on target.
Oh my god. Yes.
Right in the middle of buoy cam by the drone that they had for those shots. Wow.
Oh my god.
I mean, they lost one of the engines on ascent and they had an on-target splashdown. Full credit to GNC at SpaceX. I mean,
Oh my god. Ship 39 performed a nearly successful landing burn, although it lost one engine, although it had one engine out. It was an amazing landing burn.
For landing burn.
Wow.
I'm absolutely speechless right now. Those cameras were absolutely phenomenal.
It was Gateway to Mars in that middle top box.
Oh my god.
Gatto way.
The ship landed in a...
To be able to share with you, we
Oh.
mentioned these earlier. Breaking news.
Holy.
I did say we've got some incredible images. I believe this is one of Max's that he captured of that launch today. If you want to get your copy of that print, head to shop.nasaspaceflight.com and go and get.
Oh, look at that Gateway to Mars sign. And it's missing the E. Regardless, that flight was absolutely phenomenal.
Great detail, Max. I know he's using a 1200mm lens for all those camera lovers out there. Boy, did
I
that
was
pay
gonna
off.
ask you, Sawyer. I was like, you're our camera nerd.
Yeah, and this is the other one from
Holy.
Max too. I mean, the plume on. Look at the
What an
tail
amazing
on
flight
that
today.
plume
We
of
saw
the
like,
Raptor V3,
I was
how
very
bright it is.
like, those like, landing cameras were absolutely amazing.
Oh, goodness.
You know?
Gotta love
Gorgeous
methane.
images. Yeah.
Gotta love them. Methalox rockets are amazing.
Oh, wait, hold up.
A couple of replays. We can share
How
as
many
well.
Oh, there's
times
more
are they gonna
replays.
play that bloody stinger? Every time they play that stinger, I regret making it.
Oh, never mind. Oh.
Oh
I
dear.
was gonna say, I blame you. No. Let's have a look.
It's my fault. That's the problem. I created it. The root of the problem is me.
Oh
What
wait.
have I created? What has it
Okay.
done?
Okay. Hold up.
I saw someone in chat.
I think. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. This my reaction of IFT 12. The flight today was amazing. Of course, it's very late in my time, so I'm gonna continue sleeping right now. But that flight was absolutely phenomenal. Booster 19 did its best. It did very well, and Ship 39, it performed absolutely outstanding today, even with an engine out, and even in an off nominal trajectory. It was not really off nominal; it was a good trajectory. It was satisfactory, but the flight today was absolutely amazing. Like, I can't put it into words how amazing it was today, but I have to go now. I'll see you in the next flight. Hopefully, it will be in a month or shorter, depending on whether or not SpaceX can bring that turnaround down. Maybe also depends on the readiness of both Ship 40 and Booster 20. So I'm gonna see you in the next flight. Yeah, bye guys.